A better place to watch a baseball game, and it will be packed tonight. The Yankees and the Orioles in Game 3. This storied rivalry has provided excitement and controversy over the years, revitalized in '96.
What happens here? He contends that a fan reaches up and touches it.
O's fans still remember. For them, this season's been hard to take. Expecting to compete with the Yankees, they've had to turn their attention instead to the wild card. Meanwhile, the Yankees have shown no mercy on their neighbors to the south. New York swept Baltimore in their first meeting at Yankee Stadium, and things turned ugly. Tonight, the Orioles a chance to sweep the Yankees. A beautiful setting and a beautiful night for baseball. Welcome, everybody. The New York Yankees with the best record in the game, 47-16, being chased by the Orioles. But for the Orioles, it's not these standings, but these that matter. Baltimore trying to get the wild card spot. That is now occupied by Boston. The Orioles 8 games away. Hello, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne. Welcome. Wednesday Night Baseball on ESPN. Today, the American League suspended Mike Stanton, pitcher, New York Yankees, 5 games. Why? Because in Game 1 of this series, some of that ugliness that had happened before happened again. Rafael Palmeiro delivered this home run for the Baltimore Orioles, who won the game. Mike Stanton on the mound faced Eric Davis next. And the next pitch delivered, yes, sir, right in the middle of the back. For that, Stanton's going to miss 5 games. He has decided to appeal that decision, so he is available to pitch tonight. Ray Knight, what do you think?
Well, I don't think that pitch was intentional. Nobody has more to lose than the New York Yankees. Best team in baseball right now. Mike Stanton has been such an effective man in the bullpen. I think he's smarter than that. I think you have to rule quickly and effectively, and I think that's what Budick did. I think the severe penalty is too severe.
We'll see what happens on appeal. Tonight, pitching-wise, 2 of the best in the game. Among active pitchers, the 2 best winning percentages, Mike Mussina and Andy Pettitte.
Well, there's no question about it. This season started out people thinking these are the best 2 teams in American League. Tonight we have the great pitcher Andy Pettitte, 7-1 with Orioles, lifetime 20-game winner 2 years ago, won more games anybody in baseball the last 2 years, and obviously Mussina back from the injuries. Great matchup.
This is a tremendous pitching matchup in this great rivalry. The Baltimore Orioles have won the first 2 games of this series. The Yankees have not been swept in a 3-game series this year. Will it happen tonight? ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Original Coors. There's only one mile-high taste. Coors, the original.
Hi there, glad to have you in our Wednesday Night Baseball studios. I'm Reese Davis. We'll get you back to Camden Yards in just a bit, but first, afternoon action. The Red Sox and the White Sox battling at New Comiskey. We pick it up top 9. It's already 9-5 when Damon Buford, you can put that on the board. A 3-run shot, number 4 for him. The Red Sox score 6 in the 9th. Boston wins at 12-5. They've won 6 of 7. In the National League, despite Sammy Sosa's 25th, the Brewers beat the Cubs 6-5. Phillies beat the Pirates 3-1 behind Schilling's 2-hitter. He struck out 10. Don't forget the second half of our double-dip Dodgers and Padres coming up after the Yanks and O's. Gary Thorne and Ray Knight now.
And welcome back, everybody. And there is Joe Torre, whose ball club at 47-16 has the best winning percentage, 7-4-6. In Major League Baseball, they are off to one hellacious start, running away from everybody else in the American League. Our Nextel Yankees starting lineup. Chuck Knobloch will be leading it off at second base. Luis Sojo is in at shortstop with Jeter out. Paul O'Neill making the start in right field. Big numbers against Mike Mussina, the starter for Baltimore tonight. Tino Martinez at first base. Darryl Strawberry is the designated hitter. Chad Curtis in center field. Ricky Ledee will be in left. Scott Brocious at third, and Joe Girardi is doing the catching.
Mike Mussina on the mound tonight for the Orioles, 5-3, 3.60. Remember, he had that wart on his finger. They got that problem pretty much solved. Just giving him a little bit of problem with his curveball. Then after getting hit in the face, missed a little bit there. Now he's back for his 9th start. Good fastball, outstanding knuckle curveball, good changeup. One of the best pitchers in the game. Impeccable control, 11 base on balls, 60 innings.
Mussina is ready to go, and Chuck Knobloch will lead it off for the New York Yankees, batting at .269 on the season. And he goes after the first pitch and takes it to right field. Lazy fly ball. Mr. Davis back in the lineup. One pitch, one out. Knobloch retired.
Orioles defense, the best in Major League Baseball as far as fielding percentage. 11 straight games without an error. He sees Alomar, outstanding defensive second baseman. Everybody knows about this. Last night, look at this play. One of the reasons for going back on a broken back. That looper makes a great play. I don't know if this team possesses the range other teams does, but it certainly catches the ball when they get to it.
Their problem has been a good deal on just trying to keep people healthy for the Orioles for this start. Yusina's in there with a strike. Luis Sojo is getting the start at shortstop. Jeter is out of the lineup as he is injured, so the Yankees themselves battling with Bernie Williams and Derek Jeter both out of there. Jeter on the 15-day DL, first time in his career. In fact, he's got an abdominal muscle problem. Came on a check swing in a game on June 3. So Sojo gets the start in his place, hitting only .217 on the season for Luis Sojo. And you see his fastball is there. 1-2.
Well, Sojo and Curtis are pretty solid players. Curtis playing center field for Bernie Williams, but nobody in baseball loses more when you lose Derek Jeter and Bernie Williams out of an offense or a defense. Those are two great players, top 15 in the league.
Sojo behind on the count here, 1-2, and the breaking ball just missed outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, he's got a dandy too. Curveball, knuckle curveball he grips. A little later on we'll get a shot at his grip, showing you how he throws that curveball, and a lot of pressure on that middle finger. Right over the top, straight down.
Great control. And the right-hander forced Sojo to go upstairs to contend with that one. Battled it off. A 2-ball, 2-strike count continues. Ray Miller, the manager of the Baltimore Orioles. He has used the second most starters, 11 so far this year. Only the Cardinals have used a dozen, have used more, and it's because of injuries. They've not been able to get a starting staff together and keep them that way. Yusina missed outside, breaking ball, and the count goes to 3-2.
Yeah, there you see Doug Drabek. As you think about this starting rotation at the beginning of the season, Yusina, there's Jimmy Key, Scott Erickson, Doug Drabek, and Kamenicki. Felt they were one of the top 4 or 5 staffs in all of baseball.
3-2 delivery, missed inside. Only 12 walks in 61 innings this year off Mike Mussina. Sojo gets that one on, one down. He won't give up many.
No, he doesn't, Gary. He gets ahead of you as good as anybody in the game, and he's always been able to put you away. He's almost averaged a strikeout per inning throughout his career. Now back, this being his third start, he's had a tough time putting people away because his curveball is his primary out pitch. Although he has an outstanding fastball, he's relied on that curveball, and it's not quite as sharp coming off of that wart problem.
Yusina, 29 years old. Pitch taken on the inside corner by Paul O'Neill. Maybe one of the game's most unnoticed outstanding hitters at the plate right now. I mean, year after year, Paul O'Neill delivers a strong batting average, a lot of extra base hits. He's got 7 home runs, 49 RBIs. This is a quality hitter. Very quiet, introspective. He doesn't say very much. Takes the strike on the outside corner and didn't like it. Mike Riley, the home plate umpire, gets the big stare from Paul O'Neill. He didn't like either of those strikes.
Well, O'Neill doesn't say much. He has a great eye. Usually averages about 90 walks a year. Last year walked 75 times, 102 times in 86. But he doesn't say much. When he does, he feels that he's pretty much right.
Kind of ends up going unnoticed. Not somebody the press runs up to after games. Runner at first base, 1 away. O'Neill takes that pitch away. A 1-ball, 2-strike count, and you see Mike Mussina and how he pitches. O'Neill leaning across the plate. When Mussina's on, he will work the corners both inside and out. Can make it very tough on hitters to get any kind of balance at the plate. 2-seam, 4-seam, fastballs, a cutter, circle changeup, that knuckle change. We were talking about his out pitch. A very wide assortment. Sojo with the lead at first base. 1-2 delivery, and O'Neill wraps that one towards the hole. Out of the reach and a base hit. Surhoff up with it. O'Neill's on, and He's one of the all-time best two-strike hitters, and O'Neill comes through there taking it the other way.
Well, he adjusts as well as anybody. He knows that Messina went away with this ball 6 inches off the plate. He leans out there, sticks his nose right on the baseball, drives the ball through the left side. Look how he just balanced so well, knowing that Messina was setting him up to go away, and that's where a hitter outsmarts a pitcher by making that adjustment.
He hit .273 with 2 strikes on him last year, 3rd best in the league. Does it again there, and Messina's in trouble early. 1st and 2nd, 1 down. And Tino Martinez, the Yankee cleanup hitter, 9th in RBIs in the league with those 50. He's had an 0 for 6 in this series so far. The off-speed changeup misses up high, ball 1 to him. Well, the Yankees with a chance to jump out early. Baltimore Orioles have won first 2 games of this series. Soho at 2nd, O'Neill at 1st. Yankees have not been swept in a series since the opening series, 2 games against Anaheim, and have not lost a 3-game series this year. At least been swept in it. Pitch is taken on the inside corner, 1-1. The Orioles guaranteed, of course, a victory in this series, and it's going to be the first time the Yankees will have lost a series since that opening one against Anaheim. That's how hot this team has been this year. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away. Foul back on the outside fastball. A ball and 2 strikes on Tino Martinez. You see the 24th straight series wins that ended last night. The Orioles guaranteed a series win. A 2-0 shutout. 1912 Red Sox and the 1970 Reds were the only teams that had been able to put up those kinds of numbers in avoiding losses in a series for that long. 1-2 the count. Martinez not close on that one, down and away. A strikeout victim.
Well, great pitchers are able to reach for something extra. You hear that over and over when you talk to scouts. This is a little something extra. A fastball, 95 miles an hour, on the black, on the knees away. Just a perfect pitch, indicative of the type of control we have. Just blows the ball right by Tino.
Messina's got 2 down, 2 on, and the designated hitter, Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry has never had a hit off Messina. 0 for 6 lifetime against him. Strawberry getting back into the lineup with the Yankees, providing some power. He's had 9 home runs and 24 RBIs.
Well, I spoke to Darryl before the game, former teammate of mine and good friend. He says he feels really good and really strong. And I asked him what's the difference between now and 1986. He says his bats feel a little heavier.
And the knee's a little more inclined to go out from under him once in a while. He battles with a bad knee. That's the kind of cut, though, he's always taken.
Well, he's always been a great breaking ball hitter. A lot of people look at a guy this big and strong, and you think that he's a fastball hitter, but he's always had that real good hand movement. He can hit the fastball, but he's always been a devastating breaking ball hitter.
He's been a designated hitter 34 times. Tim Raines, 23, have led the Yankees in filling that role as a designated hitter. Joe Torre said tonight one of the problems he has is trying to get these guys into the lineup enough. There's Raines, so that they can keep a hot bat going. He doesn't want any of them to cool off too much. That's one of the most difficult things a manager has to deal with, playing time for players. 1 strike pitch. Messina's fastball up high, 1-1.
Well, you worry about it, Gary, but it usually takes care of itself because undoubtedly over a course of 162 games there are going to be injuries, and 2 or 3 injuries to key people if you're lucky. And obviously Soho is going to get a chance to play for a little while, as is Curtis. And you get at bats that way.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down, 2 on for the Yankees here in the first. Breaking ball, and that had some movement down and in, but it missed. 2 ball, 1 strike.
I don't see how the pitch missed. It looked like to me that that ball was right over the heart of the plate when it was over the plate. He caught it down and in, but that's not where it counts. Where he catches it, obviously, as everybody at home should know, as it passes over the plate. You knew that, didn't you?
I did know that.
Okay.
I know there have been arguments about when that happens, however. 2-1 to Strawberry to center field. It is back near the wall. Goodbye, home run! For the first time in this series, the Yankees have the lead. A 3-run homer by Darryl Strawberry off Mike Messina.
But when you can handle the breaking ball, it's because you don't try to pull the fastball. Watch this ball. Fastball moving away from him right on the back barrel. Hits it off of the back wall out there. Brady just looks up and off that back wall right at the bottom, right there. I was out there last time we were in town. That's about 60 feet behind that 410 mark. So that's a blast, buddy.
That's a 470-foot home run or thereabouts to dead center. That one towards the gap in left center field by Curtis. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Brady Anderson will get it back in. So Strawberry, the 3-run homer, the 6th given up this year by Mussina. And then the very next pitch, Curtis delivers the single. Strawberry will get some more at-bats as a DH if he hits the ball like that.
Well, that's the great thing about this league is that, you know, I don't really see how you have to worry about at-bats too much. You rest players once a week. You rest your outfielders one time a week. That's 3 days. You've got the DH. So it's kind of a built-in situation to get people at bats.
Ricky Ledee's been called up with Bernie Williams on the DL, their all-star center fielder. He is out of there. Ledee is a definite prospect playing at Columbus AAA. He was hitting .291 with 13 homers and 25 RBIs in 57 games. He can hit. And he's going to get a chance, and he's taking advantage of it here with Bernie Williams out. They've given Strawberry on that home run 465 feet. It is the longest in the history of this park.
I think they're 5 feet short because I actually walked it off and I got 470 when I was here earlier in the year.
We're going to fight this.
Yeah, I am.
We are going to appeal.
Yes.
Along with Stanton's appeal.
But you see, I've been a caddy, so I know what a yard is.
Nancy will appreciate that.
Or maybe I don't.
A 2-0 count on Ledee with a runner at first base. Now, if I remember right, when you went out with your beautiful wife, Nancy Lopez, the great golfer, you didn't last too long as a caddy.
I last 3 tournaments.
Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's always a husband's fault. Always.
But you knew that.
Oh,
you can't argue that. 2-0 pitch is taken down low, and it goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. We're going to send you out between innings with one of those things that walkers use, you know, that measures distances. You roll the little wheel.
Yeah.
And we'll see. How's Andy Pettit feeling right now? He hasn't even gotten out of the jacket, and his team's already up 3-0. Ledee 1 for 6 in this series. Curtis at first, pretty good lead, not going. Fastball up high. Chris Hoyle's behind the plate, making the throw down. He saw that lead that Curtis had at first base. Lee checking down at third to see whether or not the runner might be going here. Be a bad situation.
Good time to run. Real good time to run. Good pitch to hit. You may be able to score on a double. Curtis successful on 10 out of 12 attempts this year.
3-1 the count. Mussina will throw over to Palmeiro holding the bag. 3-0 Yankees. 3 runs on 3 hits here in this first inning. And in case you're wondering, the Bronx Bombers, of course, that nickname from all those great Yankee teams with homers. The Yankees, despite the best record in baseball, are only 9th in the American League in home runs. This is a team that has done it on extra base hits and great pitching. Not as big a lead this time, back standing up. Baltimore Orioles, their pitching staff decimated by all the injuries that they've had to go through. They have struggled. They're 13th in the league in surrendering home runs. It's cost their starters dearly. 3-1 count, 2 down. Runner goes. Curtis running. Hoyles, that's ball 4, won't matter. Mike Mussina has not only given up the 3-run homer to Strawberry, he has walked 2 in the first inning.
He doesn't look comfortable. Mike Flanagan, the pitching coach, headed out there. He just doesn't look comfortable, Gary. He's not in any kind of rhythm. Looks like he's rushing a little bit.
Now, this is his 3rd outing since he came off the DL on June 6th. That is not a good ratio of balls to strikes.
Well, that's an awful ratio. Usually you want to go 3-1 minimally. Balls to strikes. 2-1 is acceptable, but 1-2 plus.
Not good. Ray Miller keeping an eye on Mussina. His starters have have not helped at all of late, except for the last 2 games. They have not been able to get even beyond the 6th inning or into it. When you've got to go to the bullpen that often, you're in trouble, even though they've got a good bullpen. Scott Brosius, new third baseman for the Yankees this year. 10th best average in the American League at .318. Yankees have 2 on again. And Brosius takes it up high, ball 1.
Here, that's a great point about the bullpen. Anytime your starters are short like that, you already talked. Rhodes went 2 innings last night, or Roscoe 2 innings on Monday night. All of a sudden, you'll be toasted out there. And suddenly a good bullpen won't be effective when you have to use them that often.
1-0 the count here on Brosius. Runners will be going. Curtis at second, Ledee at first. Breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Looked like the knuckle curve.
Yeah, that was a knuckle curve, and that's a pitch he must throw a lot, and he must get it somewhere around the plate. Breaks straight down. Almost fastball rotation because it's right over the top. Very deceptive.
Brosius, big RBI production at third base, 41, tying him with Russ Davis for the most among American League third basemen. That's how good Brosius has been in that department. Fouls it back. He leads the American League third baseman with that .318 average, and that was a spot the Yankees were really concerned with. Wade Boggs, of course, leaving the team and being moved on to the expansion Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Boy, what kind of numbers against Mussina. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Yankee lineup has faced Mussina a lot career-wise. The veteran with a 1-2 count here. And that one hit in the air to left center field, but off the handle part. Playable for Brady Anderson. He's got it. But the New York Yankees come up with 3 runs on 3 hits. The 20th of Mussina's 32 pitches that inning. One of them, that one, went 465 feet to home plate. Yankees trying to avoid the sweep. Jump out to the 3-0 lead for the Baltimore Orioles. Let's take a look at the lineup Ray Miller will have tonight. Our Nextel starting lineup. For the Baltimore Orioles, will have Brady Anderson leading it off in center field. Joe Carter's the designated hitter. Eric Davis back in right field. Rafael Palmeiro will be at first base. In June, a red hot Rafael Palmeiro with that .413 average. Roberto Alomar at second base. B.J. Surhoff in left. Cal Ripken at third. Chris Hoyle's doing the catching, and Mike Bordick the shortstop.
Andy Pettitte on the mound. What a great young left-handed pitcher this is. Only 26 years old. Has won 39 ball games, which ties for the major league lead over the last 2 years with John Smoltz. 7-5 with 4.27. Has a tough time getting left-handers out, Gary. He does not really have a pitch that moves into left-handed hitters. A lot of cutters, fastball, straight change to right-handed hitters, and a big sloppy curveball. Defense behind Pettitte. Center field and shortstop. You're missing 2 of the game's great players there. Curtis and Soho filling in. The 2 great players are obviously Derek Jeter at shortstop and Mr. Williams in center field. And the reason you hate to lose Williams is he was hitting .353, didn't have a home run to early May. Hit 10 home runs in the last little bit, over 400.
Red hot. Derek Jeter, one of the best in the game at short. He too putting up huge numbers. Take those 2 out. You put a couple of big holes, but the Yankees have been able to respond this year. Brady Anderson leading it off. Anderson first ball hitting, pops it up. Shortstop Soho is there. And Brady Anderson off Andy Pettitte is an out on 1 pitch.
Well, it's interesting. The first pitch was a curveball. Talking Mel Stottlemyre, in order for Pettitte to be effective against left-handers, he has to throw his curveball. That's his 4th best pitch. He likes his fastball, then his cutter, then his changeup, and he doesn't like to throw a lot of curveballs. But to get left-handers out, you must throw a pitch that goes away from him. Thusly, they're trying to get him to throw a lot of curveballs.
Andy Pettitte's given up a lot of hits, 8th high in the American League with 101 hits in 90 innings. That's a lot. Opposition's hitting .293 off him. That's very high. Designated hitter Joe Carter takes the pitch inside. Carter, one of the great veterans of the game, hitting at .261. 8 home runs, 25 RBIs for him. One of the regular DHs on this team. Outside, Andy Pettitte falls behind, 2 balls and no strikes. Pettit has beaten the Orioles once already this season, and lifetime 7-1 against Baltimore, part of that 58 and 29 mark he has in his career. Turned that one over and missed away and falls behind. 3-0, no. Check swing. Tim McClellan at first said he went around on it, so it's 2-1. Andy Pettit's 2-1 off speed. Another changeup, Ray, 2-2.
Yeah, he's got a great changeup. He'll use that a lot against right-handed hitters. Go down and away with a changeup and throw that cutter in on their hands.
Left-hander's 2-2 delivery. Jammed him. Mercy.
That's nasty. That's a lot like Steve Carlton's slider.
Right fielder.
When he gets on top of it, the ball goes down and in, as you're going to see right here, and it ends up disappearing around your kneecap. The ball starts in the middle of the plate and just buries right there near that right kneecap. There's no way to do anything but foul that ball off your left ankle.
So Andy Pettit gets the strikeout. He's got 67 this year in the 90 innings. And Eric Davis, 2 down, nobody on, takes the strike. Davis did not play in the ballgame last night after he was hit with that pitch by Mike Stanton in the 7th inning of the first game of the series. Davis struggling, only 7 for his last 43. Soho's going to make it 7 for 44. And Andy Pettit retires the side in order. He threw only 8 pitches. Yankees 3-0 after 1. I'm not sure I would really want to buy a drink from that.
He's having a conniption fit. I'm not sure what a conniption fit is. I just know something you happen in the South.
Well, there was a Supreme Court justice who said of pornography, I don't have to go to the movies downstairs when we have these cases. I don't know how to define it, but I know it when I see it. It's
that was
the same thing as a conniption fit.
Right.
Joe Girardi will lead it off, doing the catching for the Yankees and batting in the number 9 spot. Mike Mussina will try and settle down. 29-year-old right-hander misses down low, ball 1. Mussina 110 wins, 52 losses in his career. As we mentioned at the top, he and Andy Pettit have the best winning percentages among active pitchers. Period. They are 1 and 2 in that department. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Girardi. Joe Girardi has a 3-game hit streak coming into this game 3 of this series. 1-1 straight up the middle. And the Yankees have their 4th hit off Mussina, and the hits have been hit hard.
Second baseman, number 11, Chuck Knobloch.
Leadoff man on here in the 2nd inning. Girardi a 4-game hit streak now. This Yankee catching duo is he and Jorge Posada, putting up some big numbers combined.
They are, and the coaching staff speaks so glowingly of Joe Girardi and his unselfishness in bringing Jorge Posada along. Said that he's just been with him and tutored him and showed no selfishness.
And the leadoff batter, Chuck Knobloch, who flied out on the first pitch thrown in this ball game, stands in. Yankee catchers combined, Posada and Girardi hitting .262. That's the 5th highest by American League club catchers. They're 8th in homers and RBIs. 1 strike count. Not a big lead at first. Girardi not running. That one off the fist to left field. Surhoff's got to get chase near the line. Knobloch retired. Girardi back to first, 1 away.
Well, Mussina buries his fastball inside. The catcher sets up in there and watch him come in there and bury this fastball inside. You just can't hit this fastball moving in. There's no way to get the barrel on him. Watch how he just bunches his elbows in and can't get the head out on that pitcher. When you pitch that way inside, that makes your curveball very effective away. Mussina must do that.
He's got 1 down. Runner still on at first base. Luis Soho started out that 3-run first inning with a walk, 1 of 2 given up by Mike Mussina. That time off the fist outside of first. Rafael Palmeiro. 2 down.
Messina a little better. Watch now here. We talk about inside. He comes right back. Busted Soho right inside. Coming in there again. The home run you saw Strawberry way. Look at this movement. Almost right on his hands. Again, collapses that shoulder and elbow in and can't get the barrel to the ball. He's settled down and been able to get the ball inside, at least to right-handed hitters.
Ray, we were talking with Mel Stottlemyre, pitching coach of the Yankees, before the game about this issue. Stanton being suspended 5 games, throwing inside, obviously, in the back of Davis. Mel Stottlemyre right there saying he thinks it's got to be part of the game, but it's becoming harder and harder to keep that rushback pitch in the game. O'Neill's got a base hit into right field. Heading over to third base, Joe Girardi, played in by Davis. And the Yankees have runners at the corners, 2 down. And Paul O'Neill's 2 for 2 with 2 singles.
When we get to that Mel Stottlemyre conversation, he was adamant in saying that his attitude and his feeling has always been, as we see the replay here of this base hit. Now look, that ball is fat over the plate. Even though it's down, it's right over the center of the plate, right where the bat barrel passes. Palmera, ball getting by him so quickly, couldn't react.
First and third, Tito Martinez. 379 with runners in scoring position for Martinez, the best on the Yankees. 2 down. And he hits that one towards second base. Alomar, long run. Nice play. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left on. Ray Miller, a little defense from his ball club from Alomar. Darryl Strawberry's 3-run homers accounted for the 3-0 Yankee lead. And in the Inner Harbor here in Baltimore, take a look at what could be heaven on earth for sports fans. The site of the first ESPN zone, the restaurant. 35,000 square foot sports themed dining and entertainment complex. And it opens in Inner Harbor here in Baltimore July 12th. Adding to this magnificent redevelopment here in Baltimore. Rafael Palmeiro 9-irons that one to right field. O'Neill, 1 pitch. Andy Pettitte, 1 out. They're making it easy on him right now. He threw only 8 pitches in the first inning, and the first one here is
second baseman,
an
number
easy
12,
out.
Roberto Alomar.
4 outs, 9 pitches. He'll take it. Put up some fine numbers against the Orioles with a 7-1 lifetime mark and 5-0 in games pitched here at Camden Yards. Roberto Alomar, 7 hits in his last 17 at-bats, hitting .310 on the year. And Andy Pettitte gets a strike on the outside corner.
This ballpark plays pretty big if you can keep the ball out away from people. Obviously, Yellowstone doesn't play big enough for Darryl Strawberry.
Pettitte away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
So Pettitte throws right-handers in. He misses a little bit. Then they hit that ball out there in that 410 area. Throw left-handers away.
Like that on the right-hander. He gets ground ball outs. Alomar retired, 2 down. Let's check in. Baseball elsewhere. Reese Davis.
All right, Gary, going to take you out to Cleveland. Top of the second, no score. Larry Sutton up for the Royals. Just gets it into right field. Dean Palmer motoring around. He'll score, but Jim Thomey's there to cut it off, and Sutton was toast, but he got the job done. Royals up on the Tribe, 1-0.
Reese, thank you. Cleveland Indians, of course, on top in the Central, 7.5 ahead of Minnesota. New York, Cleveland, Anaheim, the division leaders. 2 down here. B.J. Surhoff up, nobody on.
Got all these high-priced players here. This may be the best ball player on this ball club. B.J. Surhoff, just year in and year out, has been so professional, so solid offensively and defensively.
He's had to make some transitions in his career, Ray. Catcher, third base, left field.
He surely has, and he's the type of player that does it willingly. And he's just so well thought of in this organization. And you've got a lot of high-priced people here making $5 million. This guy is probably the best value for his money on this ball club, and goes out there. He plays every day. He just is a guy that holds things together here, and big part of this offense.
282 off left-handers this year for B.J. Surhoff, 299 overall, and he draws the walk. Andy Pettit surrenders his first free pass. It comes with 2 down. First base runner for the Orioles.
Number 8, Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken Jr., number 2,614 consecutive games played. And the newspapers today, 2 of them in Baltimore, saying, as happens every year at some point, is it time for him to come out of the lineup?
Well, Cal, like today, I spoke with him, and he said, hey, I've had a lot of bad first halves. You know, you can't judge somebody over 70, 80 games, and he has. When I played here with him in 87, he was hitting 250 in the first half. Ended up hitting 265, but hit 25 home runs. You just have to, a guy like this, you're patient with him, you let him go out and play. And he is so proud, I believe that he'll go to Ray Miller when he feels like he can't play anymore. He's an honest man, he's very true to himself, loves this organization, loves to play, but there's no way that by him playing he's hurting his ball club.
And that really is the only question that needs to be asked, and is asked, I'm sure, by himself and Ray Miller.
The reason I say that, there's no one in that dugout that is going to play third base better or going to do better than Cal Ripken. 70% of Cal Ripken is better than anything they have. Now, if you had a young player over there that you're developing, then sure, you give him days off. But they don't have anybody over there.
Ripken grounds that one towards third. They've got the force at second. Brocious goes there to Knobloch, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, a base runner left on. The man who's accounted for the 3 Yankee runs, Darryl Strawberry, coming up when we come back.
Reese Davis with you. Bobby Jones and Carl Pavano locked up in a pitcher's duel in Montreal until Jones takes care of that. Base knocked to center. Matt Franco would score. Mets on top of the Expos 1-0. And Gary, the Yankees had better get ready for the bat of Bobby Jones at the end of the month.
They'll take them all they can get, won't they? Back here, Yankees leading 3-0. We're going to talk about Cal Ripken a little more as he goes out to third base. Darryl Strawberry coming on. Hit his 10th home run, first time up. 3-run homer to give the Yankees the lead. Strawberry launches that one to center, but not as far. Brady Anderson. Strawberry's out of there. Ray, between innings, talking about Cal Ripken again. You made a point from a perspective that you have as a player about what he might want to think about.
It's not the physical part, Gary. I mean, this man has played 2,100 plus ball games. It's the mental aspect of it about a rest. If you have a scheduled day off, you know it. So you're going to just take that day off. When your manager comes to you and says, I want to set you today, you go back in that clubhouse, you watch the game on TV, you take your time, you don't worry about anything, and you rest. And you come back the next day, and it's unbelievably how fresh or freshened you are. And it's my opinion that he doesn't know that feeling because he's always grinding. And this is an unbelievable, monumental strain on you day in and day out just to go play and play defense.
Grounded towards short this time. Mike Bordick, quick throw. Curtis, 2 down.
But the mental aspect of it, the preparation to play, working as hard as he does, and nobody works harder than Cal Ripken. Takes 50, 60, 70 ground balls every day, but mentally it'll wear you out. And if he ever experienced that freshening of a day off or 2 days off, or take a day off after an off day and have 2 days off, your body responds, but your mind clears up. And these prolonged slumps that he goes in, and he always goes in them, is because of mental fatigue.
2 down, nobody on. Bordick again, ground ball by Ricky Ledee. And Mike Mussina comes on strong, throwing only 4 pitches that inning. Mussina retires the Yankees in order.
One day, science will create...
23.
School's out, baseball's in, huh? What a sight. Yankees leading the Orioles by a score of 3-0. He knows the Orioles can come back, though. You can see it in his eyes. Second half of our doubleheader tonight. Los Angeles Dodgers trailing San Diego. Padres have won 8 straight. Dodgers are 10.5 out. They need some W's. You'll see it tonight. Raul Mondesi, Tony Gwynn will take to the plate. Sterling Hitchcock goes for San Diego. Ishmael Valdez pitching for the Dodgers. Following our ball game from Camden Yards, where the Yankees have the 3-0 lead. Boyles, Bordick, and Brady Anderson due up. Andy Pettitte has walked one and struck out one. Hoyles playing for the first time in this series. 3 for 14 on the last road trip the Orioles were on, coming back home and then not playing in the first 2 games here against the Yankees. He has not faced Andy Pettitte before. And the left-hander's breaking ball bounces off the plate, and it's a 2-0 count on Hoyles. Hoyles hitting only .200 against left-handers and .195 off right-handers. Andy Pettitte has been very efficient so far, and Hoyles here is taking a couple, which the earlier Oriole batters in the lineup hadn't been doing. Make Pettitte throw a little bit. Left-handers 2-0 is a fastball right there. 2-1 strike count. Mike Riley's got the plate tonight. Tim McClellan at first. John Hirschbeck down at second. Richie Garcia at third. Two-1, busted inside, missed up high with it. 3 balls and 1 strike. Left-handers hitting .304 off him. Right-handers .289. 3-1 delivery. Swung on, missed. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Kind of hard to believe the way you see him throwing like this that you could have a .293 batting average against Andy Pettitte this year. 1-7, lost 5. ERA 4.27 is almost 2 runs a game higher than it was last year when he was an 18-game winner. 3-2 delivery. Breaking ball fouled off.
Looks like to me, Gary, he's throwing the ball inside a little bit better. And he must do that. All pitchers must do that to be effective, especially a man like this that has that great changeup. You have to establish that inside corner because that makes batters quicken their swing, start themselves a little earlier, load up a little quicker.
3-2 count here. And jammed again.
Both of those fastballs inside.
We were talking to Mel Stottlemyre before tonight's game, working with his pitchers about that brush back inside pitch.
We not only try to throw inside, we try to throw inside with strikes at times and try to get a portion of the plate. And that's really what should be done. And in order to make a hitter try to speed the bat up inside and be able to get him up outside, you got to occasionally throw the ball in just in off the plate. Some hitters that stand right on top of the plate, it's almost impossible to do.
Well, I know what he means by that because a lot of hitters on the plate, actually, they'll bail out on a ball inside, and you think, viewing at home, that pitcher's way inside. Then because I work at ESPN and I can go back and look at replays over and over again, you realize a lot of these pitches are strikes.
Batters hanging over the plate.
Yeah, and Mel, we talked about it. You and I talked to him about so many hitters now are off the plate and they dive toward the ball, and as the ball comes in, they raise their arms up or jump back, and the umpire, I guess it creates an illusion or shocks him or something. He does not call the inside part of the plate. And although the plate is expanded 5 or 6 inches away, that pitchers do not get pitches inside.
3 ball, 2 strike count here. 9th pitch. And this at-bat being delivered right here. Good at-bat for Chris Hoyles. He's the first of the Oriole hitters to be able to work Pettitte. No matter what happens, this has been a good at-bat.
It really has for both people. The hitter is battling, but Pettitte is establishing inside. First with 2 fastballs, then a cutter. Let's see if he goes away with a changeup here. Coming back in.
3-2, hit in the air, left field. They were playing him deep. It'll fall in. Ledee over to get it, and there's the first hit. And an excellent at-bat for Hoyles.
Great at-bat, Gary. You said it, buddy. And the fact here, 2 fastballs in, cutter in, and then this pitch right over the middle of the plate. Watch the catcher react back to the middle with his glove. Watch him react back to the middle. The ball's over the middle. Hoyles drives it. And that's what happens when you make good pitches. Then you don't make one quite as good. It happens on curveballs, it happens on sliders, and it can happen with fastballs.
So the Orioles get one off Andy Pettitte. Now the man with maybe the best pickoff move in baseball will be holding Hoyles. He has 2 pickoffs this year. Breaking ball is in there for a strike for Mike Gordon.
Well, he just about shuts the running game down, although Hoyles isn't going anywhere. He has such a great move, it's impossible to steal on this man. He's quick to first with his move. He's quick with his slide step. you just can't run on him. He shuts you down.
That one hit in the air to left, but he's right there. Mike Bordick is retired. One down. Reese Davis.
Gary, we saw Bobby Jones' bat work. Now we'll see some bat work against him by Rondell White. Solo shot in the bottom half of the fifth. Number 12 for him. That tied it up. And then Shane Andrews put the Expos up, driving in a run on a ground out. Expos 2-1.
Reese, thank you. The Mets won the opener in that ball game, and the Yankees and Mets have that great Subway Series coming up here in interleague play next weekend. Last year it was at Yankee Stadium. This year it will be at Shea, and obviously a huge sellout already.
Well, Gary, that is one reason why I'm so strong with interleague play. Initially, I wasn't sure. I was kind of milquetoast about it, but when you can match up two teams in the same city that are solid baseball teams and allow them to play, you're talking about just creating such a great rivalry, interest, and that's why I like it. I forget the travel.
And Sunday Night Baseball, a week from this Sunday, will have the game 3 of that series. The Yankees and the Mets, 8 o'clock a week from this Sunday. This Sunday, it's New York and Cleveland. Be going at it Sunday night. Brady Anderson with one down and a runner on. Flied out to center field his first time up. Andy Pettitte blowing the strike by. Anderson has hit Andy Pettitte hard, 11 for 31. And 1 home run in his career off this left-hander. Outstanding numbers for a left-handed hitter off a southpaw pitcher. Anderson hitting only 151 against left-handers. Ouch. That one down the third baseline. Scott Brocious, third baseman. Oh, that's a tough play. Outstanding defensive play by Scott Brocious. Is that a huge help to Andy Pettitte? 2 down. You played third base.
Yes, I did.
Hitter number 29.
That's tough.
That's a tough play. You can talk about ground balls. We take a zillion ground balls, but there's no way to emulate this type of play. Off the bat, reacting, going away from you, the swirling winds, the stands is probably one of the toughest plays to make. Anytime your back's to the infield trying to catch a fly ball.
And never quite get a beat on where the ball is. Brocious did. Boyle still at first. Joe Carter fouls that one off, and Pettitte's got 2 down. Joe Carter closing in on a lot of magic numbers in his career. He's had 8 home runs this year. He needs 14 to reach that coveted 400 mark in home runs. He has not played in consecutive games this year. The veteran playing a game and then being rested, used in that designated hitter role. Up the middle, broken bat, ground ball to second. Force play, Knobloch takes it there, and that will retire the side. So Pettitte works his way out of the inning despite the leadoff single. The Yankees still have a 3-0 lead.
This is
ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Nintendo 64 Sports. That's a live shot. Isn't that beautiful? Sunset here in the Inner Harbor in Baltimore. Yankees have the 3-0 lead. Another jam-packed night. Oriole Park at Camden Yards. I guess this is next to Fenway, which is where I grew up watching baseball, so forever it will be my first love. But this ballpark, just unequaled as a setting, it seems to me, for Major League Baseball.
every time I come in here, I'm in awe. And every time that you travel this country, whether it's in Atlanta airport or you're in Houston, and people come up to us talking to us about baseball, if they've been to Camden Yards and other parks, they always refer to this as the most fan-friendly and fun setting.
It is gorgeous. 3-0 lead for the Yankees. You go back to work against Mike Mussina. Brocious wide out to center field his first time up. He'll be followed by Girardi and Knobloch in the Yankee lineup. Brocious 0 for 7 so far in this series, even though that batting average of his started the day at 10th best in the American League. What an acquisition. Yankees offense this season. Bernie Williams is out with the injury behind Pudge Rodriguez at Texas, second best batting average. They've got Jeter, O'Neill, and Brocious. 4 of the top 10 hitters, average-wise, are New York Yankees, and 2 of them are injured.
Yeah, and you mentioned about them leading the league in runs scored and 9th in home runs, and they do have a lot of line drive quality hitters that take you deep in the count see a lot of pitches, very selective, and they build a lot of innings.
Breaking ball in for a strike, 3-1. Walsh just trying to work his way on with a walk here if he can. This Yankee team, their winning percentage 153 points higher than it was last year, the biggest increase of any American League team. Hit in the air to center field. Walsh just got just a little bit under that, drives it to the wall. Anderson is there. One down.
Gary, when you stack up Williams, O'Neill, Martinez, you throw in Knobloch in that mix, you're dealing, and even Darryl Strawberry, you're dealing with people that don't swing at bad balls. And they work pitchers deep in the count. You add Scott Brosas, who's come over here and done such a great job. And you realize that, boy, this is a tough team to wade through. A lot of big-name players, but Jeter has become so much more selective.
Number 8 and 9 hitters. That one, Girardi takes to left field. B.J. Surhoff at the wall will try and rob him. Reaches up, and did he get it? No, it's gone. A home run. Your number 9 hitter we were just talking about, Joe Girardi, has singled and now homered. That is his second home run of the year and the second off Yasina in this game.
Moose having a tough time getting the ball in. There's a pitch, breaking ball that just starts on the inner part of the plate and stays there. Look how close this is. He times the jump. Man, just out of reach. 4 or 5 inches.
That close. Third base umpire Rich Garcia charging out there to get an eye on it.
Why you reckon? Why you reckon?
Why you reckon? In case a fan reaches out, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one by Knobloch to right field in front of Davis for a base hit. So the Yankees have a 4-0 lead. That is their 7th hit off Mike Mussina. Joe Girardi platooning in that catcher spot, his second home run of the year, and 2 for 2 in the ballgame. Darryl Strawberry's home run, the longest ever hit here, 465 feet. Girardi's 100 feet shorter, 366.
And other than Fenway Park on a high pop-up, that is the cheapest home run in baseball. Just 364 feet to the power alley, Gary, and that ball 366. I mean, that's a can of corn in most ballparks.
333 straight down the line. Luis Soos walked and popped out. And where did that term, can of corn, come from?
I do not know, but I know for some reason you do.
I do.
Let me hear.
Let me hear. I read a story about this, and it means it's an easy catch. Can of corn means an easy catch. It's from old grocery stores back in hither days when there used to be high shelves where they kept the canned goods, and they used to have to use a long-handled pole to reach them. So what they would do, they'd reach the pole up on the shelf, pull the canned good off, and would catch it as it came down off the shelf. Can of corn.
Hey,
that's where the term came from.
That's pretty good.
Luis Soho.
That's in your storehouse of useless knowledge.
Oh, not too useless. They're paying me for this game, and I just got it on the air. Ball caught by B.J. Surhoff. Soho is retired. And there are 2 down with Knobloch still on at first base.
That's pretty good, partner.
Word derivations intrigue me, especially in sports. When I hear those kinds of terms, I like to go back and look them up.
Right fielder.
Texas Leaguer, Baltimore chop.
Yeah.
Paul O'Neill.
All came from derivations of those leagues and things that happened in them. In Baltimore, playing on a hard surface, balls used to be driven into the ground in the old ballpark for base hits because it was like playing on concrete. Paul O'Neill. Runner on at first base, 2 away here. Home run by Girardi in the inning has extended the Yankee lead to 4-0. O'Neill's already 2 for 2. He's had a couple of singles, raising his batting average to just .331. And that breaking ball misses outside. A big RBI producer because he does hit in the clutch, and he's an outstanding gap hitter. He has picked up 21 doubles already this year, along with 7 home runs. So his total bases year after year really pile up. That accounts for RBIs. Runner at first here with 2 away. 1-0 delivery. Runner goes. Can't get the throw. Hoyle's trying to come up with that. Couldn't get the ball out of the glove. And Chuck Knobloch is on at second base with a stolen base. 18th stolen base for Knobloch.
Well, man is capable of stealing 50. Great jump there. Looks in. Just reads pitchers really well, a la our colleague Joe Morgan. Not with great speed, but quickness, and so smart that he studies all the pitchers and takes advantage of everything. These guys nowadays, they study video on the first move, usually right behind the left kneecap. It's when a pitcher breaks.
RBI chance for O'Neill. Takes a strike. 2-1. For Knobloch now, it'll time for 5th in stolen bases with Brian Hunter. Ricky Henderson leading. 28 stolen bases in the American League. Tom Goodwin's got 23 with Texas. Knobloch 5th with Hunter. O'Neill. 2 ball, 1 strike count on him with 2 down. Mike Mussina checks, and he's running for third. Off the handle to second base. Easy play made by Alomar. That'll retire O'Neill. But 1 run on a couple of hits, no errors, 1 left on. Yankees, second home run of the game. Joe Girardi got it with 1 down, nobody on here in the 4th inning. Surhoff tried, couldn't get it. Yankees extend their lead to 4-0.
Billings not.
The Baltimore Orioles trailing in this game by a score of 4-0. Yankees on top as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Andy Pettitte, Mike Mussina, the 2 starters tonight. Pettitte's walked 1, struck out 1, has given up only 1 hit, single by Hoyles in the 3rd inning. Eric Davis grounded out his first time up. 3, 4, 5 in the order. Palmeiro and Alomar to follow for Baltimore. Straight away infield and outfield on Davis. And that fastball, Pettitte thought he might have caught the inside corner. Didn't get it, though. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pettitte trying to pick up his 8th win of the year for the Yankees. Fastball inside again, 2-1. This Yankees starting staff, 36-7.
Oh, man.
That's unbelievable. 15 no decisions. Towards third. Big hop. Roches. Davis retired, 1 away here in the 4th inning.
Mentioned that great record, Gary, and the fact is that Pettitte and Cohn are just really getting cranked up, throwing the ball well. Cohn's record's been great, but really his last 3 outings, he's stretched out and has had that really overpowering. When you talk about overpowering stuff, David Cohn, when he's right, he throws that slider that turns inside out and that fastball exploding split finger that just goes straight down on top of the plate. And then a Rabu, and then now El Duque.
A day where teams rarely have 3 real quality starters. This Yankee staff is loaded. I mean, Cohn is 9-1 on the year. Wells has gone 8-2. Arabu 6-2. 7-5 for Andy Pettitte. Inside, 2-0.
Stuff-wise, talking to Jim Cott before the game, the great left-handed pitcher. David Wells, who has a perfect game this year. I mean, not a perfect game. Yeah, perfect game. Yeah, perfect game. I was right the first time. And maybe the 5th best start on this club.
That one drilled deep to right field. Take a good look. Goodbye, home run. Rough by El Palmeiro. On the year for Palmeiro, 9 of them off left-handers.
And look at the catcher setting up, and again the ball up, out over the plate. And the reason that Pettitte has a tough time with left-handers is because he does not have a pitch, again, that runs in to left-handed hitters. Everything is fastball's a natural cutter that goes away from left-handers. His changeup, which is his 2nd best pitch, goes down and in, but it's not a pitch that makes people quicken. So they look out over the plate and they hit him pretty hard.
Rafael Palmeiro has his 3rd career home run off Andy Pettitte. Roberto Alomar off the 5th center field. Chad Curtis And there are 2 down. So the Orioles get on the board to make it a 4-1 game, just their second hit.
17,
I told you at the top, Rafael Palmeiro's having a great month of June. He's batting over .413, and he's had 7 home runs here in the month of June. 4 home runs in his last 7 games for Palmeiro. 4-1 lead, though, for the Yankees. B.J. Surhoff drew a walk his first time up and takes the pitch inside for a ball. A little shift on Surhoff with Soho, the shortstop of the Yankees, moved way over towards second base. And Brocious, the third baseman, you see moved over. Interesting, though, they don't squeeze the middle. You've got Knobloch, the second baseman, way over himself.
Yeah, they do. And what it is this guy in his patterns, and we get managers, formerly we get these reports that show exactly where a hitter hits the ball his last 100 at bats. Now the outfield is shifting over with the count in the favor of Surhoff. But prior to that pitch, the infield swung over. The center fielder is playing on the third base side of second base. And again, Curtis shifting on pitches. He's shifting out there as much as 7-8 yards, Gary. When the pitch is ahead in the count, they know Surhoff pulls the ball behind or even in the count. He hits the ball the other way in the outfield. Looks like they're planning swung around hard in the infield.
He's got a 2-1 count on him here. Girardi went out to talk to Andy Pettitte to see what he wanted to throw here. Surhoff, hitters count 2-1, 2 down, nobody on. Fouls that one off outside of first on the inside pitch, 2-2.
It's really interesting sitting up here about 70 feet above the action right behind the home plate, watching Curtis in center field move around. I mean, he actually almost was running as that pitch was delivered to the plate to right center field because he saw the pitch inside.
2-2 delivery, inside again, 3-2.
It's a great shot. There he stayed pretty much true to home because the ball was out over the plate. But that's the sign of a great center fielder. Paul Blair used to anticipate unbelievably as the ball was getting to the plate. He saw the location, and he anticipated the ball being a certain way, especially when you get to know the hitters.
It's called getting the jump.
Yes, sir, it is.
As a fielder, and the bigger jump you can get, obviously, the more balls you're going to get to.
I played with Cesar Geronimo, who just had long, lengthy strides, but he actually had taken a stride or two before the ball was ever to the plate.
That'll help the field.
Fool when that ball hit right at you. But when that ball's away, most hitters hit the ball the other way, opposite field. When it's in, they react and turn on it.
Ripken waiting on deck. 3-2. Surhoff fought off 3 in a row on nasty inside pitches from Andy Pettitte. Remains a 3-2 count. Surhoff talking with Mike Riley about whether or not it was a strike.
Well, BJ always has looked like to me that he was really susceptible of stuff down and away, because he does roll over the top of the ball and hit a lot of ground balls at first, but somehow he flicks that ball and stays on it just enough.
Surhoff fouls off the 4th one.
See how he rolls over the top of that ball? His top hand almost smothers the ball on a pitch inside. He actually is much better with the ball hard of the plate over the middle of the plate. But watch how his top hand just comes right here and just smothers the ball as it gets over the top of the ball there. He ends up hitting a lot of toppers down that first base line and subsequently ground balls between first and second.
He's taken 10 pitches in this at-bat off Andy Pettitte. 3-2 again. And he drew the walk. Tough at bat. Second walk given up by Andy Pettitte. The inning stays alive for Ripken.
Number 8, third baseman.
Gary, we talked about not getting pitches on the inside corner. Watch this pitch here. They expand away, but there's a pitch as he fouls the ball off. Not the pitch I anticipated. But the fact is, anticipation is what, partner?
Sometimes works.
Yeah,
sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get a jump, sometimes you go the wrong way. When your pitchers tell you they're going to throw it there and they don't, that's what happens. You end up going the wrong way.
I bet we get it right, though.
You'll get it right. 1-0 count, 2 down. Ripken hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. Only 10 hits in his last 53 at-bats. He has not been drawing any walks at all since June 3. Has 2 walks.
This is the pitch that Surhoff walks on, and look at the ball location of this pitch. That ball is right there. May have broke around the plate. Mike Riley is really a great umpire behind the plate, maybe the best in the league. I always thought Steve Palermo was before he was unfortunately injured, and everyone knows that story. But Mike Riley's outstanding. But that ball right there, as Mel Stoudemire was saying, pitchers do not get anything on the inside part of the plate. No leadway. The ball has to be on the plate or they're not called for strikes.
1 ball, 1 strike count here. Surhoff's on at first base. Pettit working against Ripken, who takes it up high, 2-1. Stoudemire's point was interesting when we were talking with him, Ray. He said, yeah, the strike zone has been expanded. You mentioned this earlier, but it's been expanded outside.
Yeah.
It's gotten wider away, really, on pitches that are outside, but it hasn't been widened. In fact, hasn't even, the inside corner isn't even in the strike zone anymore. Ripped foul. 2-2.
And I think that goes back to what we talked about in the open with Stanton hitting Davis. If you establish the strike zone away, and as a pitcher, the hitter's going to eventually go out there with you. The only way you go out there, there's 2 ways. You either dive or you move up on the plate. Subsequently, any pitch that's in looks like to an umpire that it's tight. So with the expansion of the strike zone away, that's why we haven't been able to throw pitches inside.
2-2 the count here on Ripken with 2 down. 4-1 Yankee lead. Ripken fouls that one off his foot. It remains 2-2. Now, did Stanton, in fact, throw intentionally at Davis after Palmeiro had hit the home run on Monday night? This is the next batter, and this is the pitch.
Well, I don't think so. I think the ball was just fastball in, and that is the problem. Because of the past experiences with this ball club and the trouble, you're naturally going to think that as an umpire. You come in with a loaded gun into a series thinking that. I'm not going to let anything happen.
Ripken pops up the 2-2 pitch. Martinez will put it away. But the Orioles get on the board. The home run by Rafael Palmeiro is 19th of the season. 1 left on. Yankees lead it 4-1. Yankees with a 4-1 lead. Strawberry a 3-run homer. Girardi with a solo shot. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Martinez, Strawberry, and Curtis due up. Yankees lead the season series against Baltimore 3-2. They are looking for their 22nd road win. They have the best road winning percentage along with the best overall winning percentage in baseball. They are 21-11 on the road. Martinez has struck out and grounded out 0 for 8 in this series. Batting at .287 nevertheless, and 9th best in RBIs in the league. And he fouls that one off. Tino Martinez, another one of those quality hitters we were talking about in this Yankee lineup. Always puts up the big average and brings in the RBIs, 50 on the year. Mike Mussina's walked 2, struck out 1. Yankees 4 runs, 7 hits off him. Breaking ball misses inside. Another one of the quiet players. One of the interesting aspects of this Yankee team over the last couple of seasons, people like O'Neill and Martinez and Williams, Derek Jeter, they're quiet players. Outside of third base, Ripken, no play. Great players, but quiet, and the Yankee clubhouse has been about as quiet over the last 2 years, press-wise, as it's ever been.
Yeah, it has been unbelievable because there's always something stirring in New York, and you never hear anything negative coming out from over there. And you're just talking about phenomenal leadership in Joe Torre and great people on this ball club.
1-2 deliveries fouled off. Martinez, career .276 hitter, fell just shy of the 300 mark last year. He ended up second in home runs and RBIs, 44 homers, 141 RBIs. And yes, he too is a quiet Yankee. Manager says very little publicly, and if he does say it, it's positive. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
And you find that with great ball clubs. I know with the Cincinnati Reds in 75, 76, you know, up through 80, nobody really said much on that ball club. It was a pretty quiet club. You obviously had Pete Rose's enthusiasm, but Morgan didn't say much. Bench hardly said anything. And Geronimo, he never said anything. And you're just talking about clubs that have so much confidence, very strong character.
You go out and win.
The Atlanta Braves, they remind you of that now. That's why last week when we were there, it was pretty shocking to have a guy like Mark Wohlers say something to the press about Bobby Cox's decision to relegate him to the middle part of the ball game.
3-2. Overhand, off-speed pitch, grounded to second base. Alomar. And Martinez is retired. 1 away here in the 5th inning. Darryl Strawberry coming up. He opened this game up for the Yankees. First inning, 2 on. The longest home run in this ballpark's history. To that back wall in center field. 465 feet, a new record. And the fans buzzing as he stands in here. It was home run number 10 on the year for Strawberry. This time down to first, Palmeiro's got it. He'll make the flip over, Mike Mussina, and quickly there are 2 down. Even quicker, Rhys Davis.
Gary, as for the Mets taking on the Expos, down 2-1. John Olerud hit this ball. Rondell White's after it. Rondell, no. Plays a little leapfrog with Vladimir Guerrero. Piazza would score to tie this thing at 2. Perhaps Guerrero's still dazed by the encounter with White. Guerrero, little hit. The bat of Baerga. Olerud would score, but Vladimir would atone. Robbing Butch Husky. We're all tied up at 3 in the 7th.
Reese, thank you. John Olerud, Tony Gwynn tied for the league lead in hitting at 350 in the National League coming into today's play. Chad Curtis at the plate, 2 down. Nobody on, and a 1-0 count on Curtis, who has singled in 2 at-bats. 1 for 8 in this series for Curtis. Mussina's overhand fastball. Ripken went down too soon, and the ball goes underneath his glove. A big turn, but Curtis will stay at first base. Error?
Yeah. I think it has to be
number 38.
No question about it. He's looking at the ground there. Cal works daily with the ground crew people, but he's there. He jumped quick, just didn't stay down. They won't give him an error, though, I guarantee you. But see, he kind of like slips a little bit. He's there, crawls, fools you sometime at third base. Third base is a tough position to play, not because I played it, but you have to make every play. Shots, slow ground balls, bunts. And it's a difficult place to play. And even though you've played shortstop, been in the action, it's a whole new deal over there.
Hey, base hit.
It doesn't surprise me.
No. So the Yankees pick up their 8th hit of the ball game off Mike Mussina. With 2 down, Curtis is on at first base, and Ricky Ledee, who has walked and grounded out.
One other thing about third base play is you have to move your feet. If he moves his feet there, he gets in front of that ball. The ball wasn't hit very hard. He decided to dive. The ball wasn't hit hard. It fooled him. You saw him crawling on his knees trying to get to it.
Looks like he thought that ball was going to get there sooner than it actually did. Ripken charged with only 2 errors this season, and as Ray mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Orioles have not committed an error in their last 11 games prior to this one. Day waiting here in an 0-1 count, 2 down. Towards third. Ripken's got that one. No runs, a base hit, and 1 left on. It's a 4-1 Yankee lead, and we're going to check in with Rhys Davis. Rhys.
Gary, there are only 2 ballparks in which Mark McGwire has not homered, and then there was one. St. Louis taking on Houston, and Big Red just takes one out of the Astrodome. We're all tied up at 1 in that game in the 3rd. We go back to Baltimore after the break.
Yankees have the 4-1 lead. Andy Pettitte trying to get out of the 2-game losing streak. He's been the man the Yankees have called on since August of '66. He's gone to the mound to snap a losing streak of 2 or more games. a number of times. Yankees are 7-3 in those games, and Pettit's 6-1 in the 10 chances where he's had to shut down a losing streak of the Yankees. Right now he's doing it again. Yankees have the 4-1 lead. If I said 66, it's 96. Andy Pettitte wasn't old enough to pitch in 66. Out to left field. Today. One down. Royals retired. Bordick coming up.
Shortstop, number 14.
In fact, he had 6
Mike
years
Bordick.
to be born.
So he wasn't throwing real hard then.
He was not throwing real hard.
At least not that we know of. He may have been somewhere else, some other league, but not that we know of. Even the Elias Sports Bureau can't come up with those stats. Not yet, but they're working on it. One down, Mike Bordick. Bordick is a very fine bunter. Squared around, maybe thinking, trying to lay one down for a base hit. He flied out to left his first time up. Batting .246 on the year for the shortstop of the Orioles. And Pettitte's pitch is inside. 2 balls and no strikes. You know where Mike's from, don't you? His home?
Your home state.
A beautiful state of Maine.
Yes, sir.
Not a lot of them.
Not a
Major
lot
league
of
level, but not a lot of them anyway. 2-0 pitch misses. Nope, caught the corner. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Bordick. Bordick has 11 sacrifice bunts this season. Called on to do that a lot in the bottom part of the order. He is 5 for 26 lifetime against Andy Pettitte. 2-1 delivery to Bordick. The other way, but it'll slice foul. 2-2. Paul O'Neill gives the souvenir back.
Yeah, outfield playing so shallow. Curtis now drifting over to right. He's moving as much as any center fielder I've seen, Gary. I like to pay attention to the defense, and he's moving way over to right field. They're only out there about 280 feet.
And a nasty breaking ball down and in. Second strikeout for Andy Pettitte. 2 down
Center
here in the
fielder,
5th inning.
number 9.
Want to remind you, World Cup coverage continues. ABC Sports will have it for you. Starting Saturday at 2:30, the Netherlands taking on South Korea. And Sunday at 2:30, the United States will be back in action against Iran. Group F, top 2 will be advancing. U.S. lost 2-0 to Germany on Monday. They'll be on Sunday on ABC. Brady Anderson fouls it back. He is flying out to center. Popped out 0 for 2. 2 down here in the 5th inning. We mentioned the great improvement the New York Yankees had. The Orioles have gone in just the other direction. Their winning percentage 119 points lower than it was last year. You know that's not the biggest drop in the majors?
No way.
The world champion Florida Marlins.
Oh. Now that doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise you at all. does it?
119 points. It surprises me that the Orioles have dropped that much. They came in with so much promise. Changed managers. My buddy Davey Johnson sent down the road again for some reason.
Davey's working on celebrity. Isn't he in the celebrity golf tournament?
Davey's a great golfer, and I know he's probably playing in that celebrity tour.
Yeah. Fishing.
Fishing
A lot of
lot.
fishing.
Has a fish camp
Yep.
in Ocala, Florida.
1 ball, 2 strike count here, and Brady Anderson. Strike 3 called inside corner. 1-2-3 inning. Andy Pettitte's got 3 Ks in the game and a 4-1 lead. Skipper of the Baltimore Orioles, Ray Miller, 19 years as a major league pitching coach. Now he's in charge of that card. He managed with the Twins 85-86. Now back here with the Orioles, and it has been a struggle, as we told you. He was looking at the lineup card between innings. Scott Brocious up for the Yankees. 15 games in June, and Oriole pitchers have failed to pitch at least 6 innings in 9 of those 15. He does not want to go to the bullpen unless he has to. But a 4-1 lead, he can't let Mussina stay out there if the Yankees start another rally. Brocious has flied out twice to center field, 0 for 8 here in this series. Orioles 11th in ERA in the American League. 13th in home runs surrendered, and as soon as given up 2 more tonight. Hit in the head with a line drive by Sandy Alomar on May 14. Check swing, went around inside corner, 2-2. He says the only thing that probably allows me to come back and pitch is the fact I don't remember any of it.
Yeah, that's a frightening thing. I got hit in batting practice back in 1973. Put me in the hospital for 4 days just throwing batting practice, and for about 4 years I wouldn't go back out there. I had a sprain, but frightening thing. And these guys are like sitting ducks out there. They talk about that aluminum bat. They better not bring it anywhere near a major league ballpark, or there will be some fatalities, casualties, or whatever you call it.
3-2 missed inside. And Mike Mussina surrenders the third walk of the ball game. Don't forget, second half of our Wednesday night doubleheader. Los Angeles Dodgers, San Diego Padres go at it. Coming up right after this one, Ishmael Valdez scheduled to go for the Dodgers. Sterling Hitchcock, former Yankees, scheduled to pitch for San Diego. Dodgers trailing San Diego right now. The Padres have won 8 straight games. That's coming up next. We apologize, some audio difficulties we have had. That only means you can't hear us, so hey, it can't be all bad. Joe Girardi. Girardi bunting to move the runner up. Palmeiro's got to play it. Alomar will cover. And down to second base goes Brocious. Nice bunt by Girardi, who had homered and singled in his first 2 at-bats.
Second baseman, number 11.
Well, that's Joe Torre's National League influence. Bringing the top of the liner up, nod block, tough out, Soho, tough out. Advancing that runner, getting that fifth run, but 4th run, so that disallows a grand slam to beat you.
Thinking ahead. Chuck Knobloch. Single in his last at-bat. He's hitting .269 on the year. And drills that one to left field, but it's going to be on the foul side of that fair pole. Strike 1.
Something about great hitters. Barry Larkin got off to a horrendous start. Knobloch to a horrible start. But if, just as with poor hitters, or hitters that aren't really quality hitters, overexposure usually gets them. They'll start off hot, and then all of a sudden, by July, they'll be hitting 180. It's just the opposite with these type hitters. Because if you put them out there enough, they're going to get their share of base hits.
Knobloch, despite the fact he averages a .269, and that's not bad, has been a great table setter for this club. He is 9th in runs scored. One of the reasons he is 7th in walks, and has been hit 10 times by a pitch. So his on-base percentage, which is what you're looking at from your leadoff hitter, guys at the top of that order, right up there.
Well, it is. I look at leadoff percentage more than I do average, because if you get a guy that's willing to take walks, and Knobloch he's averaged 85 walks over the last 3 seasons. That's a lot of walks. Doesn't punch out a lot. Hit .341 back in 1996.
2-strike count on him, 1 down. In the dirt, gets away from Hoyles. And Brocious will move over to third.
And that's going to pull the infield in, and that makes this guy, even 1-2, he is so tough to strike out in crucial situations. Sometimes his swing gets a little big, but when you put runners in this type position, this is a type of hitter, a lot like Dave Concepcion. Norm Charlton warming up the bullpen there. You talk about Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, Joe Morgan, but you had Pete Rose and David Concepcion drove in as many big runs as anybody because they were tough outs. They always got a piece of the ball, and that's what Chuck Knobloch does.
He's got the infield in here. 1 down, 1-2 delivery to him. A chopper towards short. Going to be a tough play at the plate. There is none. He will be credited with the RBI, Knobloch, as Brocious scores.
Number 19,
walk,
Luis
sacrifice down to second base. A wild pitch moved him over to third, and then this.
See how tight that defense is, and Bordick with great range. Can't come home. Roach's going on contact. Again, tries to right himself, but so much momentum going toward first base, no chance to make that play.
Bordick looked towards the plate, but he had no chance. 2 down, bases empty now. Soho up. Walk popped out. And flied out to left field. Yankees, home runs by Strawberry, 3 RBIs. Girardi a solo shot, and now the RBI by Chuck Knobloch on the ground ball out, and the Yankees have a 5-1 lead in this game. Soho bailing out on that one, takes the breaking ball for a strike, 1-1. Knobloch now has delivered 25 RBIs. Go along with the 49 runs that he has scored. That is manufacturing a run right there.
It really is. Orioles catching has really struggled all this year. Lenny Webster and Hoyles behind the plate. Neither one of them can throw. They've not done anything offensively, and as you saw in that last situation, not blocking the balls, and that takes a lot away from pitching staffs.
He called that a wild pitch. I thought that should have been a pass ball. And taken for a strike on the outside corner. 2-2 on Luis Soho.
I'm not basing it so much on that particular pitch, just talking to the people around the Orioles camp and that know this team very well. Catching has just not been real solid.
It's a mainstay up the middle of any ball club. 2-2 inside. He held off on it. Soho, 11 consecutive starts now for Derek Jeter. Then out of an 0 for 11 with an infield hit in the 3rd inning of last night's game. The backup shortstop. Now the regular with Jeter out. 3-2 count on him. And he got him on the outside corner breaking ball. Mike Mussina gets his 2nd strikeout, but the Yankees manufacture a run. Knobloch, the man who got it. That leadoff walk by Mussina cost him dearly. Sacrifice, a wild pitch, and a ground ball RBI, and the Yankees are up 5-1.
To show you how to take a real Sunday drive. Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200, Sunday at 5 on ESPN.
Reese Davis with you. Jesus Sanchez was up 2-0 on Maddox and the Braves until Gerald Williams strokes one down the line. Greg Maddox would score, so would Walt Weiss to tie the game at 2. Braves got 2 more, including an RBI double by Galarraga, and they're up 4-2 as Maddox goes for his 10th, Gary.
And that's that Florida team we were talking about, Reese. It's struggling so mightily. A real shame for baseball what has happened there, but it's happened. Carter leads it off. Fouls that one. Whoa, he is 0 for 2 in the ballgame. Talked about some big numbers Joe Carter has reached and is chasing, right?
Well, we looked in there and he had 1382 RBIs coming into this season, and I had said, oh, that's a lot of RBIs. You look down 12 straight years, he had 100 RBIs except for the 2 strike years. He had 98 and 76. He ends up with 1382. Then we had our great statistician Marty Aronoff look it up. We're getting Aaron at 2297, Ruth at 2204, Gehrig at 1990, and Eddie Murray 1914. So this man has driven in 100 runs for 10 years. Listen to this: 121, 106, 105, 115, 98, 119, 121, 107, 102. And yet he's still almost 900 RBIs behind the hammer.
Wow. Wow. Another foul ball. 2-strike count on Carter.
That's a big wow.
That just tells you just how many Aaron had in the RBI department. How many you've got to have
20 years.
2,200.
You know, Eddie Murray played 21 years, and he had in 17 out of 19 years 85 RBIs or better, but only 5 years did he drive in 100. This man's done it 12 times, but yet Murray has 600 more home runs, so it's longevity with production. And Eddie Murray, obviously unbelievable. 85 RBIs in 18 out of 19 years.
Big-time production.
But in order to get to those places where Aaron and Ruth are,
you don't.
You don't.
You don't.
You just don't.
Closest you're going to get to where Babe Ruth is come here to Baltimore and visit his house across the street. That's as close as we're going to get to his RBI total.
Yeah.
2-strike count on Carter. Davis and Palmeiro to follow that one to left field. It is deep. It is gone. Goodbye home run, Joe Carter.
inside, still short. Deadly low ball hitter. You remember that pitch that he hit off of Mitch Williams down and in, almost the same spot. And he did just about the same thing. And needless to say, Andy Pettitte not real happy.
He is now just 13 shy of 400 home runs. His 9th of the year. And Joe Carter makes it a 5-2 game solo home run.
And again, and just not to be redundant, but here with the 400 home runs, and you're talking about how many shy is he?
13.
13. He has hit over 30 home runs 7 times in his career, over 25, 12 times in his career, and is yet to hit 400.
So those who have put up 500-plus home runs.
How many are there now? 14? 15?
14, I think.
14 of them.
That one hit up the middle, base hit, Eric Davis. So Andy Pettitte, first 2 batters here in the 6th inning, hitting him hard. Davis now 1 for 3. And the Orioles have 4 hits off Andy Pettitte. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Office of the Commissioner. Oriole fans getting into it. Andy Pettitte, who's walked 2, struck out 3, has now given up a home run and a single here in the 6th. Pettitte has given up 9 home runs on the year. And one of them to Rafael Palmeiro came in the 4th inning. Solo home run, his 19th of the year. Long ball here, and the Orioles are right back in it. Runner at first, nobody out.
This just shows how big that 1 run was. After the 5th inning, you always play for 1 run, I believe, because you tack on, and it just gives your pitcher a little breathing room. Gives up a solo home run, big deal. Still has a 3-run lead. Gives up a base hit, big deal. You still do not have the tying run at the plate yet, so it's huge.
Mendoza just up in the bullpen. Great changeup. Palmeiro way out in front of that one.
Gary, I think this is a breaking ball. Let's look at it again from here. It starts in at him and goes away. That's the breaking ball that we talked about at the start of the telecast that he had to throw to get left-handers out. And that was a pretty good one.
Rafael Palmeiro. That'll take you off your stride. 1 strike count on him. Pettitte. Davis at first. He's not going anywhere. Inside. Fastball. 1-1.
I like it. I like it. That's the way you have to do it. You throw the breaking ball, then you come right back and reestablish that position inside. Then you go back to with the breaking ball later in the count. But look at this. That's just a pitch that establishes the inside part of the plate, makes the hitter think in there a little bit, and makes them more susceptible to anything moving away from him. See if he goes back in there. Ye's setting up in there again.
1-1 inside, missed down low with it. 2 ball, 1 strike count. And that will bring Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach of the Yankees, out to the mound to check on Andy Pettitte. Now we should note here, and Mel was telling us about this, Ray, before the game. In Andy Pettitte's last start, a lower back problem seemed to act up on him again. He had a twinge in his lower back in his last outing. Pettitte has had a problem with his lower back this year and last year. Stottlemyre thought he wasn't kicking as high in that game because the back was bothering him. So a very close eye is being kept on Andy Pettitte.
Yeah, this guy is the anchor of this staff because he's left-handed. David Wells, obviously, we mentioned before the other quality starters, actually 6 quality starters in this staff. But Joe Torre concerned so much that in that last game, Stottlemyre just mentioned, I don't think his leg kick is as high. And Joe said, well, let's take him out of the ballgame. Just that quickly, no hesitation, just precautionary measure. And I think that's probably what Mel's doing now.
How are you? You feeling all right?
Right.
2-1, throw over.
And that's all that goes on in those conversations. I mean, it's not brain surgery out there. A pitching coach runs out. Generally, a pitcher, when you reach his status, knows, feels what he's doing, and he's just checking to make sure he's physically okay.
Rafael Palmeiro, 2 ball, 1 strike count on him. Palmeiro with his 19th home run, now tied with Mo Vaughn for 5th in the league in homers. Check swing, went around.
Good pitch.
Plate umpire Mike Riley, the call, 2-2.
Good pitch. Establish that ball in there, throwing the 1 breaking ball, getting him out front. Then going back to the fastball, look at his pitch. Just buries it right there inside, right about belt high. Gets the call, and now I would bank on him going away with him with a breaking ball here. 2-2. Ideal time after 3 fastballs in to go, breaking ball away.
Really has Palmeiro off balance now in this at-bat. 2-2 delivery. That one down the left field line, fouled off, stays 2-2.
So that's where you get in trouble. He went back to the fastball, wanted to get it in, and got it out over the plate. But because he threw the breaking ball way early in the count, the hitter still has it in the back of his mind. He's not able to get to that fastball. But that was actually a mistake there. That fastball did not get in. It was over the middle of the plate and a very hittable pitch.
If you can fight off pitches in this kind of an at-bat, as you see Davis at first, you get your rhythm back.
You do. And you can just tell right there that Palmeiro's a little in between. He's not certain what he was going to do. He's coming back in there again.
2-2 delivery. Jammed him, fouled it off into the dugout.
But he's going to eventually get back to the hook. I mean, he has to. You see a man swing that poorly at a breaking ball early in the count. In your mind, you try to set him up to get back to that pitch. And he's trying to get back to that breaking ball, but he's just establishing that fastball in. But he has to go back to the breaking ball.
Only 41 strikeouts has Palmeiro put up. He's a tough at-bat. I mean, he's got power, but he's a good contact hitter. 2-2 count on him. And see, he was off stride there again. Fouled it off, though, and it remains 2-2.
And again, it's fun to do this, watch pitchers and kind of go through the pitch, because he breaking ball, but it was fat. It wasn't as good as the other breaking ball, and that's what happens so often to pitchers is they make their best pitch on their first pitch. Really tight, nasty breaking ball, and then when they go to repeat it later in the count, it's not as tight and it's not as nasty, and that's when hitters do damage.
Palmeiro's trying to wait for one of those.
Tom Seaver, as you know, did not like to throw the pitch to get you out until it was late enough to count, and he threw it to you one time and you missed it.
Yep. 2-2, runner goes here and grounded down to first, foul as Davis took off. Of course, in order to do that, as Tom Seaver did, you had to have enough other pitches.
Yeah, there are not too many Tom Seavers around.
No.
But I do believe that if you want to get a hitter out with a breaking ball, that you establish the fastball and the hard stuff and then go to the breaking ball as the count builds. But you have to have good enough stuff and location to get there.
Yep. Nobody out here. Davis running on the 2-2 count with the Orioles behind 5-2. Pettit's got a great move over there. Runner not going, and another foul ball by Palmeiro.
He isn't going anywhere. There's no way. You don't run yourself out of an inning in this situation. 2-2, 3 runs down, power back, 4-hole hitter at the plate. There's no way you run. There's no advantage to running here. I wouldn't even hold him on. I'd be right behind him trying to take that shot away between first and second, because he's not going to run on this move.
The 10th pitch in this at-bat to Rafael Palmeiro. Andy Pettit's had some tough hitting situations in this game. Hoyles in the 3rd inning took 10 pitches and singled. DJ Suroff in the 4th inning took 10 pitches and walked. Palmeiro is about to see his 10th pitch. 2-2 the count. Well, Davis got enough of his attention to get him to throw over.
I wouldn't worry about it, but I think that's a part of him freezing runners is the fact that he shows them that move that's not real good, and they know in the back of their mind, because they've been told by their manager and coaches, he's got a better one, he's got a better one.
Girardi with a sign, 2-2. Grounded to first. They've got one. Now they got to put the tag on Davis. And they do. Ends up being the double play. Good play by Tino Martinez. He stepped on the bag. Davis had nowhere to go in that situation. And just like that, 2 down.
Second baseman, number 12, Roberto Alomar.
Great play here. Doesn't get off there. Takes the sure out. Wheels the throw. Sees Davis standing there. Great play both ends. Great play by Davis to anticipate the throw to come back to first base. But Martinez is hitting his first day in the office.
No.
You know. He's been there a little while.
He can play first base.
Yes, he can.
2 down, 3-6 on the putout on Davis, and now Alomar 0 for 2 is grounded out and flied out. 5-2 lead. Big at bat right there to get Palmeiro out of there with a runner on and nobody out, and end up with 2 down and the bases empty. Andy Pettit, Alomar to third, Scott Brosius to play, and that will do it here in the 6th inning. But Baltimore has a run on 2 hits. Nobody left. Joe Carter had the big blow, leading the inning off, his 9th home run of the year.
Let me
Welcome back to Baltimore, everybody. New York Yankees lost the first 2 games of this series, trying to avoid the sweep. Strawberry's home run in the first got him out early. Ray, worth the question of how good is this Yankee team, do you think, with everybody out there when they're healthy?
I don't think there's a team better in baseball. I know the Braves are very close because they're pitching in addition to Galarraga, but this, in my estimation, is the best baseball team in all of America when you look at everybody healthy. Chili Davis still on the disabled list, so there's no question in my mind they have the best talent.
Yankees way out in front in the Eastern Division of the American League, and with good reason. Great balance. Mike Mussina's out of the ball game, and Norm Charlton comes on, the 26th appearance for this veteran left-hander, and the bullpen active again here for Baltimore.
Well, Norm Charlton, you see the hits there, just not the pitcher that he once was, because he doesn't have the command that he had with his fastball. He used to throw that thing 95, 96 miles an hour, do that real nasty slurvish pitch between the curve and the slider that we call a slurve, and just roar left-handed hitters out. Now he's lost command of his fastball, doesn't get at the spots as much, and his slider just is not that effective.
We go to the 7th inning. Paul O'Neill leads it off, and O'Neill a chopper towards second base, slow roller. Alomar, major play right there. 1 down, O'Neill retired. Let's check in with Reese again. Reese Davis.
Gary, off to Detroit we go. Twins and Tigers. Tony Clark has already homered once. He's got a couple of men on, and he's gone yard twice. Hey, in honor of the Red Wings, let's call this a 2 slap shot night. It's 6-2 in the 8th. Not sure if Clark's going to get to go for the hat trick or not, Gary.
Well, they're celebrating in Detroit, will be for a while, as they won the Stanley Cup, of course, sweeping Washington, winning last night. Great hockey team and a great year for them. The Detroit Tigers wish it was somewhere near that. What a disappointing start. 25-41 coming into the game, last in the Central Division, a ball club that thought it was going to be a whole lot better. Tino Martinez, 1 down, nobody on. Martinez has grounded out and struck out, 0 for 3, hitting .286. And another chopper to second base. Alomar, 2 down.
Well, these are the little things that managers do. You know, you got O'Neill, Martinez, and Strawberry up, 3 left-handed hitters. Charlton has struggled this year. You get him in a situation with 3 left-handed hitters where he has the best chance to succeed. Then he succeeds and he builds himself up a little bit, starts to feeling better. And this is one of those real important things that a manager can do for a pitcher.
2 down, bases empty. Yankees leading it by a score of 5-2. Darryl Strawberry. Home run number 10, 3-run shot first inning. Longest home run in the history of this ballpark. Alan Mills ready, if needed, in the bullpen for Baltimore. Chad Curtis waiting on deck. Strawberry, the designated hitter, hitting .266 overall. Takes the pitch down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Strawberry's hit left-handers well in limited times. 5 for 16 with a home run off southpaws so far this year. He doesn't get a lot of chances against left-handers. Hello.
Change-up. That's a change-up. The fans don't know it. Change-up, up and in. You know, I tell you, I mean, growing up in the game the way that I did, you see this pitch, he grips it way back in his hand. Change-up just gets up and away. That ball won't hurt you if it hits you at 80 miles an hour, but everybody is just all excited.
Fastball, that's what he was setting up. Missed away, 3-1.
You know, Gary, it is tough. I mean, when you're talking to Jim Palmer before the game, Jim Cott, Mel Stottlemyre, all these people that have pitched, played the game, you know, pitching inside is such an important part of this doggone game, and over and over and over again, you have everybody reacting. And I mean, that deal that Benitez did was a joke. I mean, you throw at somebody, as we look at Kitty Cat, Jim Cott.
3-2 delivery. Strike three called outside corner. Charlton gets the strikeout, retires the side in order. 7th inning stretch time.
What's she got in mind for me now?
Time now for the Kelly Springfield key plays of the game. They were long balls, and they came early. Darryl Strawberry, first inning, longest home run in the history of the yard. A 3-run shot. Joe Girardi, solo home run, his second of the year in the 4th. Just out of the reach of B.J. Surhoff. Our Kelly Springfield key plays of the game. Do they still make Bromo Seltzer? That is my question. That is the famous clock here. Bromo Seltzer is still a product. We have a vote. We know they still make Holiday Inns because there's one right there. They're not a sponsor yet, but if you don't come on board, we'll never mention you again. B.J. Surhoff will lead it off here. Ripken and Hoyles will follow. Andy Pettit has gone the distance for the Yankees with 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Orioles have a couple of runs on 4 hits off him. Both of the runs homers. Palmeiro and Carter solo home runs. Mike Mussina left the game, giving up the 5 runs on 8 hits over 6. He walked 3 and struck out 2, and he gave up 2 home runs.
And Andy needs to have a short inning here. He's at 93 pitches right now, and they don't want to go much past 110 pitches with him, so he needs to have a real strong inning here in order to get back out there in the 8th.
Throwing a 93rd pitch. Two-strike count. Surhoff. And that one is taken down low. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
See, that's an unusual pitch. A 73-mile-an-hour changeup, 78-mile-an-hour changeup, 0-2. And that's something you would never, ever, ever see when I play. Because it's the softest pitch you can throw.
Martinez. Surhoff is retired. And let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
Guys, the Braves are starting to pull away from the Marlins. Larry Jones, they call him Chipper. Chipper, number 18 for Chipper. It's a 2-run shot. Braves up 6-2 as Maddox goes for his 10th.
I didn't give you that number when we were talking about the Marlins because I looked at it and said, you got to be kidding me. The teams that have faltered the most here this season, fouled off by Cal Ripken. The Florida Marlins have dropped 264 percentage points in win percentage from last year. 264. The Orioles, 119, is the 3rd greatest decrease. Florida's number 1, and Seattle is number 2 at 141 points off.
Well, Sheffield knocked them off .40, then Brown .50, and then Bonilla .60. So I can figure that out after I kind of work it out.
I guess when you lose your whole starting lineup for your championship team, you're probably going to lose some games. That one fouled off outside of 3rd. 2-strike count on Ripken, hitting at 254. He is popped out and hit into a fielder's choice. 10 now for his last 54. Cal was really upset today. We mentioned the newspaper articles questioning whether he should come out of the lineup, saying, you know, they always wait until I'm at the worst part of my year when I'm in a slump and national TV's here. He was saying the papers are just looking for the publicity they get out of it. He was really upset about that it was happening the way it was happening.
You know, the press, you know, they wear out managers, they wear out players, but I mean, it's old hat. The same thing they're discussing, they discuss year after year. And
left field in the yards, Leday.
And playing with Cal, knowing Cal, this is truly a very special person. But his problem is this. Look how far he moves forward. And when you do that, your hands are going to lag. He's just moving forward. Look at his back leg collapse. That looks like me hitting. And that's exactly what I would do when I was tired and struggling, is move your body so far forward. And all he has to do is just set himself, move away from the ball, create a little bit of space. But struggling, you start moving, and he's becoming sensitive about that. I mean, much more sensitive. He used to didn't even retort to it. Now he expresses himself more. But I, again, think that Ray Miller calls him in his office, say, look, you are struggling. Just take a day off. And again, they don't have anybody over there that's going to play third base any better or hit any better.
Now one rip foul outside of third. 1 ball, 1 strike count. 2 down. Nobody on here in the bottom of the 7th, 5-2 lead. Ripken's had only 15 extra base hits all year this year. The newspaper article, one of them that was looking for the negatives, hit more grounders than any other person in the league, American League. His combined slugging on base, 3rd lowest in the league. And Ray Miller said he would sit him down only if he, quote, totally stopped hitting, totally stopped doing anything, end of quote.
Well, I think, too, that you establish yourself as such a great player, and for years you do so much. 280, 290, 25 home runs, 85, 90 RBIs.
Chris Hoyles, he's got a base hit over Soho's glove.
And people expect you to do that for the rest of your life. I just wish, for the sake of Cal Ripken, that they would set out a game and then it would never be mentioned again.
Makes life a lot easier. Derek Jeter doesn't have to worry about that. He'd never been on the DL before, but he is now. Abdominal muscle problem keeping Jeter out, but he's supposed to be back here. Going to play 1 game at the minors, a couple of days, and then over the weekend should be back in the New York Yankee lineup at shortstop. Mike Bordick. Hoyles, a couple of hits, is on at first. He's 2 for 3. Bordick to center field. Curtis has got it. And that will do it. No runs, a base hit, 1 left on. Orioles not finding a way to get to Andy Pettitte. 5-2 Yankees. Welcome back to Baltimore. Gary Thorne, Ray Knight, and our crew. Great to have you with us here. First half of our doubleheader. Yankees on top by a score of 5-2. And our Sherwin-Williams pitching summary brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paint and Wallpaper Stores. There you see the 2 starters. Messina's gone. Andy Pettitte is still out there.
Yeah, Andy Pettitte, 104 pitches. Going to get himself into the 8th inning. Messina, 85 pitches, just not really sharp with his fastball. Not able to finish people off. Ahead of 10 people tonight, 2-0. I mean 0-2, 1-2, and only had 2 punch outs.
Ouch. Third pitcher for the Orioles, 31-year-old right-hander Alan Mills. On in relief, Norm Charlton worked an inning. Struck out 1, didn't give anything up. Little heat inside to Chad Curtis.
This kid has a great arm. You see there, the base on balls is what's killing him. He's only given up 22 hits in 30 2/3 inning, 5 home runs. But his problem is he's got a 4.7 earned run average. He puts so many people on base and builds big innings. But 93, 94 mile an hour fastball.
High heat, foul back by Curtis. That was an angry swing right there.
Yeah, it was.
There's still sentiments here.
There are. There's no question about it. Talking to different people, you know, there's a doubt in everyone's mind anytime a pitch comes inside, is it for a purpose? You know, and I just think you have to put those things behind you.
Was Benitez, Baltimore, Yankee Stadium in the series. These 2 teams had that huge brawl. Retaliatory beatings were taking place. On Monday night, Davis gets hit with a pitch. Mike Stanton's been suspended 5 games as a result. Benitez was criticized both by the Yankees and his own teammates over the incident for throwing at somebody intentionally. And those flavors are still here. 1-2 count on Curtis. And that set him up for a great breaking ball down and away. Punch out, assist to the catcher, and away.
Left fielder number
Well, the Orioles have a great bullpen, and this man right here could possibly close, but you have Benitez out there. Look at the tight, real tight rotation there on that slider. 86, 87 mile an hour slider, 95 mile an hour fastball. And this is a man is going to be a free agent, and if I were a GM, I would try to sign him because he really has great stuff.
Mid-90s with that fastball, slider, hard slider. Breaking ball in the dirt this time. He's working on a split-fingered pitch. 1-0 count on Leday. Ricky Leday, left fielder for the Yankees. Leday's gone 0 for 2 and a walk. Outside to him, 2-0 count. Looks like he has kind of a screwball effect on that pitch, Ray, that down and away in the left-handers.
Yeah, he's just kind of getting over the ball a little too much and imparting that inside-out rotation on the fastball, and causes it to run away from left-handers. But that may be what he's trying to do against left-handed hitters.
2-0. He got that one on the outside corner.
And you find that so often with left-handers, they have that natural movement away from left-handed hitters because of their arm angle, and some people have said because of the rotation of the earth on its axis. You get some of these guys left-handed just moving the ball so much.
Leday, 9-iron cut on that one, doesn't connect. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And seldom do you see a right-hander that can move the ball that way, and so I've heard a lot of theories.
Gravitational pull's a good one, I guess. It always works. It's always applicable. 24-year-old from Puerto Rico, Ricky Leday, called up from AAA Columbus with Bernie Williams out. Rips it deep, but foul. This kid's got power.
Yankees like him. They like this kid, and I don't think it's one of those overblown statements either. Watched him take BP today. Got a very quick bat, very smooth, caught that front foot. Has played a lot of baseball, played in winter ball there in Puerto Rico the last 4 years.
2-2 count on him. Fouls that one off. Holds the count. 1 down, nobody on here in the 8th inning. They brought him around slowly. He's played a lot of minor league ball at the lowest levels. But did not want to rush it because he was playing so young. And he's probably ready. I mean, he'd be up for a lot of clubs.
Yes, he would be. He'd be a star 3-hole hitter.
Yep.
For a lot of ball clubs. You put him on an expansion ball club, and he's hitting in a 3-hole for you.
Mills pitch, foul back again. Count remains 2-2 on Leday. Made his major league debut. 4th start in left field here during this current streak with Bernie Williams out of there. He's already picked up his first major league home run off Scott Erickson in Monday's game. 2-2 delivery to him. Leday reaching. He was looking for an inside pitch that time, and it wasn't. But he protected the plate and holds the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now Stottlemyre. We're sure he's talking to the bullpen and not to his son in St. Louis because he wasn't starting tonight. Todd.
Well, he's got a better chance to talk to him if he's not starting.
You're right. 2-2 the count.
These guys don't talk to anybody when they start.
Got him with high heat. Race Davis, let's check in with him. Race.
Gary, as for New York's other team, Mets and Expos have been going back and forth all night. Montreal at 4-3 in the ninth. Uge Urbina on to close it, but Brian McRae has opened it with his 6th. We are tied up at 4. Mets still batting in the ninth. Gary?
They are the comeback team in the National League this year. Their comeback wins late in a ball game, phenomenal for the Mets. As soon as they get behind, they start saying, "Up, got them right where we want them."
You see a lot of that ball club. How good can they be? You get Hundley back. What are they going to do in that Hundley situation?
Well, he's asked for a no-trade clause, of course, in his contract in order to stay with the Mets, and they're hemming and hawing about what to do with that. I mean, you've got Piazza. The question is, you're going to sign him after this year. Piazza's made a world of difference, and they've got outstanding pitching. Leiter's leading the league now in ERA. A shutout win against Montreal last night. I mean, they're a good ball club. The Mets are a solid, balanced team. They've actually got some speed now. They haven't had that for years. Got some power. Piazza, big hitter in the middle of the lineup. So it'd be interesting to see. They're looking at a wild card spot too, probably. The likelihood of catching Atlanta is not good. 0-2 delivered. Just missed outside. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Scott Brocious, 2 down, bases empty. Mills has struck out the only 2 he's faced here in the 8th. Brocious drew a walk in the 6th inning. Came around to score. in an inning where the Yankees had no hits. Andy Pettit's gone the distance for the Yankees. In the dirt, blocked, 1-2. Two balls, two strikes. Mills to Brocious. Just got that one off the end of the bat. And he'll hold that count at 2-2.
See, if he touches that pitch, that was a slider, outside black, moving off the plate. If he can even touch that pitch, to me now as a pitcher, I'd come back and bust him inside. Because he's looking away in order to just touch that ball. There's no way that you foul that pitch off unless you're looking hard away.
2-2 delivery to him. Inside corner right there. Right. He struck the side out. 3 up, 3 down. Bottom of the 8th inning coming. Yankees have a 3-run lead.
Reese Davis with you, Cardinals and Astros. You heard Gary mention that Mel Stottlemyre was not calling time. If he had been, he'd found out about that. A solo shot by Carl Everett, his 6th. Brian Hunter able to answer that thing and tie it up at 2, guys.
Mark McGwire in that great season, of course, and the home run chase underway. And the Cardinals can't win.
Pitching.
Yep.
Pitching. You lose Andy Bennis. Alan Bennis gets hurt. Morris hurt. Grantley coming back off of shoulder surgery. They just don't have enough pitching. Second only to the Braves in runs scored and home runs. But you're not going to out-hit people. You got to out-pitch them.
Brady Anderson leading it off 0 for 3. It was interesting, Ray Miller saying before the game, we were talking about all he's gone through with the injuries to his pitching staff and all the starters. He said, I don't understand why we don't add another man to the roster in this day and age and let us go with an additional pitcher.
All managers think that. I felt the same way.
Mel Stottlemyre said, I don't want it. Grounded down to first. But
he's not managing.
No, the reason is he says, I couldn't use him. That's how good his pitching staff is. Mel Stottlemyre said, I don't need to have an extra pitcher. I can't even get the guys I've got in the game.
Well, when you got your starters going 7-8 innings every doggone night, you don't need but 10 pitchers.
And I said, aren't you the exception? He said, absolutely.
Yeah.
When I got the Cones of this world and the Andy Pettits and the Wells pitching, said we just don't need anybody else. But the rest of almost all the other teams, except maybe for Atlanta, could clearly use another pitcher. Pettit gets the first out here. Joe Carter up. And he fouls that one off.
Yeah, you can go up and down the rosters and lineups and the pitching rotations in all of baseball. And you can't name 5 teams that are 3 pitchers deep. I'm talking about 1, 2, and 3 true 1-hole, 2-hole, and 3-hole pitchers. You just can't find them. They're so hard to find.
Carter, who delivered a home run, his 9th of the year in his last at-bat, 1 for 3. The Players Association obviously would love to have an expanded roster and another player. Just another chance for a player to play at the major league level. It's going to be a foul ball.
I can only think of Atlanta, the Mets, the Yankees, and Cleveland. It really are 3-4 pitchers deep.
Yep.
San Diego have gotten pretty solid with Brown and Ashby, and Hamilton's now doing well.
It's the name of the game. Always has been. I guess always will be.
And that's why guys like Pete Harnish, Schilling.
Carter's got another base hit into left field. The day over. 1 down, 1 on here in the 8th inning for the Orioles. This Saturday through next Sunday, June 28th, the X Games are back on both ESPN and on The Deuce. San Diego, for the 2nd straight year, will be the location. 450 plus of the world's greatest alternative athletes. The X Games. We're going to get a pitching change here. Andy Pettit will leave with an outstanding performance and a chance to win his 8th of the year as the Yankees have the 5-2 lead. Rivera on.
Billing's not his alternative.
Reese Davis with you. The Braves bullpen blew Greg Maddox's opportunity for his 10th win last time out, so he just took care of it himself this time, getting Todd Zeal to ground to Chipper Jones, and the Braves beat the Marlins 6-2. Maddox, first 10-game winner in the majors.
How unexpected that is, huh? And this is an unexpected.
He's having another one of them conniption fits.
I'm telling you, if you buy many drinks from this poor kid during the course of a game, he's got no chance of going home.
That bed cannot be still when he lays down there, and I'm not sure that's lemonade either.
Andy Pettitte, outstanding performance, 7 1/3 innings. Got a chance to win the game, his 8th of the year. A couple of walks, 3 strikeouts. The flamethrower's on.
Boy, he can bring it, and a lot of people say, why is he coming here with 5 outs? He hasn't worked. This will be his 3rd day. But boy, does he have stuff, and boy is not a strong enough adjective or whatever it is, pronoun, noun.
Adjective's good.
Yeah. He can bring it, ladies and gentlemen. He throws that ball 96, 97 miles an hour. Great control. One reason John Whitman left. And tell him how many people he retires when he faces him, Jerry.
18 of 19 leadoff batters he's faced, he's retired. That's unbelievable. Newly acquired Rich Becker from the Mets. First Oriole at bat. Fouls it off outside of first.
He's got to get some more lumber because he just sawed off.
He had to get a glove today. I was down at a club. I was talking to Rich. He said, I don't have a glove. He got here at 2 o'clock this afternoon. None of his equipment got here. So he had to go searching. I don't know what he found for a bat. I guarantee it's not his.
No.
Becker came over from Minnesota to play with the New York Mets, made the team in spring training with a great spring training, did not hit well for them, coming off the bench though. Now he's here, and off the fifth, center field, not nearly deep enough. Soho puts it away, the shortstop, 2 down. Becker hitting for Eric Davis. So Rivera has now retired 19 of 20 first batters faced this year.
Well, when you have a closer that can do that for you and you're a manager, and you're talking about falling in love with someone, the nightmares that you get managing are caused mainly from guys not throwing strikes. Dying that slow death, as Joe Torre talks about. A manager would much rather die a quick death. You come in there, you throw strikes, and if a man hits you, he hits you. You try to make pitches, certainly, but you start walking people and do a little bit like Mitch Williams used to do, and you're talking about getting scorched mentally.
Yep. Palmeiro, broken bat. That's what Rivera does to you. 2 broken bats, 2 hitters faced.
Well, not only does he throw the ball 90, 95, 96 miles an hour, he varies his grip on the fastball and cuts it a little bit in, and he's got that long, lanky delivery that allows him. Look at that ball cut in. That's a fastball, but it's cutting in. And what I mean by cut, he off-centers his grip. The ball moves 4 or 5 inches in on a left-handed hitter, and you don't see the rotation, and it just wears your hands out.
2 down, runner at first base. 5-2 lead, Yankees over the Orioles. Palmeiro 2 for 5 with a home run in his career off Rivera. Fouls that one off, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
And what I like about him, we've seen 4 pitches now, fastballs, and they've all varied speeds, 95, 94, 90, 95. Anytime that you can change speeds on your fastball, it makes everything else so much more effective.
When he throws a heater that's inside, gains your attention.
It gets your attention, boy, and he runs that ball in on right-handed hitters, and he's got that real free, loosey-goosey type arm that you really can't pick the ball up. He hides itself. He turns that left side in.
Runner goes off the fifth, second base. Oblong back, and he's got it. So Rivera comes on, retires the 2 hitters he faces. No runs, a base hit, and 1 left on. We go to the 9th inning. Yankees 5, Orioles 2. ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Propecia. Talk to your doctor today. Welcome back, Camden Yards in Baltimore. Gary Thorne, Ray Knight. We go to the 9th inning. Yankees leading it by a score of 5-2. Andy Pettitte a chance to win. There is Rich Becker, stays in the ball game in right field for Eric Davis, the man he hit for. He has got a glove. Joe Girardi. Work here against Alan Mills. Second inning of work for Mills. He struck out the side in the 8th inning. Girardi a home run single and a sacrifice. 2 home runs on the year now for Girardi. Knobloch and Soho at the top of the order. Mills misses outside with that. 2 balls and no strikes. Ray and I were looking at the numbers on Alan Mills when he came in and trying to figure out why his ERA, what was it, 470? 470. Yet opposing hitters weren't doing anything against him. He has an interesting combination. Even though left-handers are hitting 182 and right-handers 213, unlike Rivera, he has only retired 60% of the men leading off against him in an inning. And he has given up 5 home runs and he's walked 26. That'll get you in trouble.
Yeah. So he's probably about 35-40% of those people are getting on via walk.
Leadoff walks, which are about the worst things that can happen to a pitcher. He, however, has allowed 1 leadoff man on this year. Foul back by Joe Girardi.
And then you mentioned propensity to give up the home runs. 5 home runs. They're not solo shots. And then because of that, a lot of people around give up that 14, 15 home runs a year. Maddox does it. Glavine. But they're solo shots. They're not, 2-3 run shots because of walks.
You can give up the solo shots and win games. Andy Pettit may be proof of that in this game. He's given up 2 home runs, solo home runs to Palmeiro and Carter. He's got left with a 5-2 lead.
Well, I've always felt the people that throw strikes are going to give up home runs. You take David Wells, he gives up a ton of home runs, but he wins you 15 games a year. And they're relentless in the strike zone. If you're relentless in the strike zone, you're going to make your defense work. These are major league defensive players. They're going to make the play behind you. So you throw the ball in the strike zone and just pound it there. And eventually, if you have good stuff, you're not going to give up a whole lot of runs.
3-2 count again. And towards second base. Alomar. Girardi retired. 1 down here in the 9th inning. Don't forget, this coming Sunday night, the New York Yankees right back on ESPN and a great matchup. 2 of the best in the American League. The Yankees and the Cleveland Indians will be going at it. Irabu leading the American League with a 1.68 ERA scheduled to start for the New York Yankees against the Indians, who are 39-28, leading the American League Central. Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Yowza. Roberto Colon scheduled to make that start for the Cleveland Indians, but it's not his first name. Bartolo Colon.
Bartolo.
Oh, it's close.
You were?
I had the thesaurus out, and it gave me that as a synonym, so that's clearly a bad thesaurus.
Yes, it is. Published.
If you look up thesaurus in the thesaurus, what do you get?
Thesaurus.
You get a blank page. Chuck Knobloch hitting at 268. And a fastball inside by Mills. Knobloch has had a 1 for 4 with a single. He did pick up an RBI, though, and a ground ball out.
Did you know that Bartolo Colon leads the league in complete games?
I did not know that.
Oh, come on.
There's a line drive. Base hit center field by Knobloch.
Guess how many he has?
5.
You're right.
Shortstop, number 19.
Don't hold that number so close to me next time. My eyes don't. You're a good partner, though. That'll be base hit number 9 for the Yankees. Knobloch on. He's got a couple of singles in the ball game. Soho 0 for 3 and a walk, scored ahead of Strawberry in that first inning. He and O'Neill came home on the 3-run homer by Strawberry. And Mills will try and hold him close. 9th inning, 5-2 lead for the Yankees. Victory here, and they avoid the 3-game sweep, but has not happened to them yet this year.
And you also mentioned this is the first series they will have lost in 24 series. This is the toughest stretch they're going to go through this year, I think, as far as schedule, Gary. They play Cleveland 4, then they play Atlanta in Atlanta for 2, then Atlanta at home for 2, and then they come back and play the Mets 3. So that's a stretch of 12, 11 ball games that they're playing the best teams right now in the league, or in both leagues, in baseball. we're going to see just how good they are.
And they don't mind that. Foul back. Good ball clubs like to play good teams.
Yeah, we mentioned that to somebody, I think it was Mel Stallmeyer, and he says, yeah, everybody else is going around saying, we got to play the Yankees.
That's right.
So they're not too worried about who they're playing.
No. Jeter hopefully will be back from a Yankee perspective this weekend. One minor league game is what he's scheduled to appear in. And then he'll be back at short. And Soho is up there at the plate right now. He'll be back on the bench. 0-1. Mills pitch outside corner. Strike 2 count on Soho. Soho batting at just 206. Runner on at first, Knobloch. O'Neill on deck. One down infield. Double play depth. Runner goes. Outside throw down is off the mark. Shortstop side by Hoyles. Stolen base for Knobloch. Second of the game, 2 for 2. Soho called out on strikes, 2 down.
Well, good pitch, but another great jump there. Knobloch, talk about his smartness. Reacts, actually anticipated there, had timed Mills. Mills didn't throw to first base and took off way before he started. There's no way anybody, you can't throw him out with a 22-250. You know what that is?
One of your weapons?
Yeah, it is. It's a rifle.
Got some firepower.
Very fast rifle.
Paul O'Neill. It's just a guess. O'Neill hitting at 328 will step out as Mills throws, and it's a called strike. He didn't get the timeout. Don't see that very often. Oh, he may be thrown out. He just showed up the umpire.
Well, I don't like that rule. I do not like that.
Wow.
I just don't like that. How does an umpire know that there's not a gnat in your eye or something? I hate that. If you step out, then they ought to give you timeout. I mean, he's not trying to disrupt the pitcher there. Just use common sense. I mean, he was out of there a long time before that. Just use common sense. I don't like that at all.
It is a strike. O'Neill stepped out, didn't get it, and then flipped the bat.
See, well, it may have been a tad late, but still, the fact is he wasn't comfortable. And if you want to protect hitters, you just say he's not going to do that. If you have a guy that does that all the time, then that's one thing. But George Foster would have been worn out because he stepped out every other pitch. But I'm telling you, I've never seen a guy not ejected for that. You don't show an umpire up. So Mike Riley, again, I have tremendous respect for him because he's a great, great umpire.
And he and O'Neill talk quietly
but
there.
He's cool. I mean, that's why he's a great umpire. You know, he probably did the right thing. I'm getting overwrought here in emotion because I've seen it happen so many times. But in that situation, he did call it a little late. And there's a time when a pitcher comes and said, you can't hurt that pitcher either. You have to protect him. But again, he handled that so professionally. Let's look at O'Neill here, just flipping. And I don't know if that bat, it did mean to come out there. He put a little extra spin on that. Yeah. I'm telling you, if you don't think these players care, if you don't think that they're emotionally involved with this thing, or most of them are. And that man right there at the plate certainly is.
1 strike count, 2 down. Knobloch at second base. Down low to O'Neill. A 1-ball, 1-strike count. Ray Miller came out to talk with his pitcher after that last pitch.
Yeah, one more thought, Gary, about that again with Mike Riley. Great show of professionalism there by feeling the situation and looking to what the player is feeling. And if more umpires did that, it would be a lot better game.
Yep, I agree. 1-1. Grounded down to first base. Palmeiro will flip, Mills covering, and that will do it. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on. Baltimore gets a shot at it as we go to the bottom of the 9th.
Reese Davis with you. The Mets are tied in the top of the 9th on a Brian McRae homer, but then Brad Fulmer boots one just in front of McRae off of Mel Rojas. Shane Andrews scores the winner. Rojas gets his first loss. Expos win it by a count of 5-4. There is the 8-time NL batting champion Tony Gwynn of the Padres. His Padres on an 8-game winning streak, and they take on the Dodgers after we finish the bottom of the 9th in Baltimore.
Tony was just kind of hanging around with that 350, 360 mark, waiting for those guys at the early 390s to kind of come back to earth.
Yeah, Peter Pasquarelli, our partner here in crime, sent me a note earlier that Olerud was tied with Gwynn, and he said, I'm going to take Gwynn. I said, you would. Not any disrespect for Olerud. But
John Olerud would take Gwynn.
Yes, he would.
Seriously. John's a serious, wonderful guy. John would say, yeah, he'd probably win.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it to him, but he'll probably win it. Rivera's looking for his 14th shutout, 14th save, rather, as he's on here in relief. Start the second inning of work. Ray Miller's club down 5-2. Andy Pettit a chance to win the game, and Mike Mussina, the pitcher of record for Baltimore. Orioles get a last chance, though. Ninth inning. Alomar, Surhoff, and Ripken do up. Alomar wanted the baseball looked at by Mike Riley. He does so and gives it back to Girardi.
Hey, it happens. It just. So wait a minute. Nobody else is coming near this pitch. Let me see if there's something wrong with that baseball.
Got to be some reason. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Yankees. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Orioles. Orioles have left 5 on base, and none of them have been in scoring position in this game. They've accounted for their runs on homers by Palmeiro and Carter. Pitch taken inside by Alomar, who's 0 for 3. Roches is in close at third, figuring Alomar might try to lay one down for a base hit. Rivera's high heat. 2-0. Bear in mind, Rivera's retired. 19 of 20 leadoff batters he's faced this year.
You see Brochus there. He was 2 steps on the grass. That's taking away. That's taking away the bunt. All you young players at home, you realize if you think a guy's going to bunt, take it away from him. Don't make it a situation where you try him by playing 2 steps behind the grass. You go ahead and get in there, take the bunt away, make him swing the bat.
Gets the strike in there, 3-1. Alomar, of course, will take the walk here if he can get it. Orioles need base runners.
Yeah, he'll be taken here 3-1. He's lead off. He's led off before. And that's a smart player. He just takes. You know, it's just what the heck. I can hit 3-1 as well as I can hit 3-2. I'm not going to get over anxious and swing at a bad ball and not have a chance to get the first.
3-2, and that one down the line is going to be an extra base hit. Leday over into the corner. Alomar on his way to second base, and the Orioles have the leadoff man on in the 9th.
Well, Gary, I think Robbie Alomar should lead off or hit second. Brady Anderson swings at a lot of first balls. Robbie Alomar is a great hitter, and he's better off at the top of the lineup, 1 and 2 hole. I don't like him in the 5 hole. I think he needs to be leading off. And just like tonight's batting order, you got Carter hitting second, who, as we've talked about, has driven in 1,400 runs, and you have Alomar hitting 5th. And to me, not knowing what the reason for it is, Alomar is a prototypical 2-hole hitter. Let him set the table and then let Joe Carter drive him in.
14 doubles for Alomar. Rivera misses inside to B.J. Surhoff. So Alomar becomes just the 2nd player this year to go up against Rivera as a leadoff batter against him and get on base. And Rivera is getting behind the first 2 hitters here in the 9th inning. 2-0 on B.J. Surhoff. I want to remind you, Sports Center will be on the Deuce at 11 o'clock Eastern Time on the Deuce, and then Sports Center following the second game of our doubleheader on ESPN. Strike on the inside corner to Surhoff. 2-1.
Well, Rivera only 21 innings and 18 appearances, so he's so used to going out there just getting 3 outs. Tonight, asked to get 5 outs.
Grounded to first. Martinez himself to the bag, and 1 down. Alomar over to third.
Third baseman, number 8.
And that's why, Gary, off of that statement, we have 4 hitters and 3 broken bats. But off that thought is when you're a starting pitcher, you have to be so good. Relievers can get by with 1 inning or going around the batting order 1 time. But the concentration part of it is so crucial. And just like Mariano, a young guy with a great arm, if you leave him out there for 3 innings, he starts to get in trouble because he loses that concentration. But as long as that adrenaline's pumping, he's good for 12, 15, 18 pitches.
That's that makeup needed by a closer. Foul back by Cal Ripken. Ripken's taken an 0 for 3. One down. Runner on at third base, Alomar. Harold Baines has come out in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Hoyles, the catcher. There's Baines, the veteran, who performs in a DH role with his team. Joe Carter was the DH tonight. Hit in the air to center field. Curtis tagging up Alomar. He'll score, but Rivera's got 2 down here in the 9th, and it is now a 5-3 Yankee lead. RBI for Ripken.
Now batting for number 23, Chris Hoyles.
But there's a situation where they really needed Ripken to be on base even more, though, than the sacrifice for.
Oh, no question. That run doesn't mean a thing. That's an out. That out's huge. And, you know, driving in a run's a big thing, but that run means not one thing. Cal's run on first base, without saying, Bill's a big inning.
Bases are empty now. Harold Baines, check swing, ground ball. Played there by Soho. Baines is out of there, and that's the ball game. The Yankees are not swept for the first time. Pettit gets the win. He will go 8-5. Rivera gets the save as 14th, and the Yankees are 48-16 on the year, and they lead in this series on the year against Baltimore 4-2. Dodgers, San Diego Padres coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Ray Knight and all of our crew here in Baltimore, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Yankees 5, Orioles 3. Elsewhere in baseball, back to Reese Davis.
All right, Gary, thank you very much, and we will get you out to the Dodgers and Padres in just a bit. Gary Sheffield and the guys have fallen 10.5 games off the pace in the National League West, trying to get things back together against the streaking Padres, who have won 8 in a row. Well, elsewhere in baseball, the Mets and the Expos. Bobby Jones started this thing going for his 6th straight win, but it turned out to be a wild one, and it was decided well after Jones had departed. The Expos winning it in the bottom of the 9th. 5-4 the final. Brad Fulmer knocking in the game-winning run after Brian McRae had homered in the top of the 9th to tie it. Greg Maddux becomes the big league's first 10-game winner, a 4-hitter against the Marlins. He's now 10-2. Chipper went yard for the 18th time. Pirates and Phillies. Kurt Schilling had a terrific game. 10 strikeouts. He had a 2-hitter 10 times this season. He's hit double figures in strikeouts. Phillies beat the Pirates by a count of 3-1. Astros and Cardinals. That game is now 4-2. St. Louis on top of the Astros in the 8th. Mark McGwire is homered in this game. That means he is now homered in every major league park in which he has played, with the exception of Turner Field, getting that home run early against the Astros. He's now 3 for 4 in that game. Cubs and the Brewers. Brewers win that one at Wrigley, 6-5 the final, despite Sammy Sosa's 25th home run. The Rockies and the Giants. That's a 6-3 San Francisco win as they snap out of their funk, which saw them lose 5 in a row recently, and they have now won a couple straight. Kirk Reeder picking up his 8th win in this one. The Diamondbacks and the Reds, that's a 4-1 win for Cincinnati. Jay Bell did get his 11th home run, drove in a couple. Andy Bennis picking up the, actually that's a 4-1 Diamondbacks win, I should say. Bell with the homer, Bennis getting the win, snapping a 2-game personal losing streak. The Red Sox and the White Sox in the American League, and the Red Sox just hammering the guys from the South Side. Tim Wakefield picking up his 8th win of the season, ties him for 2nd in the major leagues. He struck out 7 in that ball game. Elsewhere around the American League, we had Kansas City and Cleveland. Kenny Lofton, who had a couple of dink hits earlier, that's not a dink. A 3-run shot for Lofton in that game. Jump-started and got the Indians right back in it. It was 4-0 KC. It's now 4-3 as they play in the 9th inning. Indians trying to rally and pick this thing up. Well, the Padres have absolutely been burning it up. They've won 8 in a row, and they're just about to bury the Dodgers. L.A. trying to stay alive, and Bob Carpenter and Dave
This is the Jeep and Eagle post-game report. It's brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. It happened in front of the largest regular season crowd in the history of Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And Andy Pettitte goes 8-5 now with the win. Mike Mussina takes the loss, and Mariano Rivera has 14 saves on the season, going 1 2/3. Now, you remember just a couple of seasons ago, Andy Pettitte's specialty in 1996 was winning after Yankee losses. Well, after losing the first 2 of this series, Andy Pettitte delivered exactly what the Yankees needed. In 1996, he was 13-3 after the Yankees lost a ball game. And this is one that the Yankees didn't have to have, but it certainly is a lot better than leaving here having been swept, especially going up against a team that, who knows, could figure in things down the road if things do turn around. But this game was all about one big blast, and the man who was here in the Discover Payback was the coach of the Capitals, who was swept by the Red Wings. Ron Wilson threw out the first pitch, and you know what his team needed? More power, more strength, like this. The longest ever hit at Camden Yards, 465 feet, and Darryl said he didn't get all of it. So the Yankees led 3-0. There were 2 on. That came in the first inning, and Mike Mussina was in a hole. And Joe Girardi, ever at the ready, decided to join in, beating B.J. Surhoff's leap, his second of the season with nobody on. The solo shot gave the Yankees a 4-0 lead. But the Orioles would be heard from. This is the first mistake that Pettitte made in the game. Rafael Palmeiro's 19th home run of the season, 4-1 Yankees in the ball game. But Pettitte, you know he's great at getting the ground ball double play. Palmeiro at the plate after this strikeout of Brady Anderson and Chris Hoyles. 7 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 Ks. Here's the big double play. Palmeiro grounds to Tino, who steps on first, and Eric Davis is tagged out by Luis Sojo. In comes Mariano Rivera, and as I said, he got 5 outs in this ball game to record the save. There's Luis Sojo to Tino Martinez, and that's your ball game by a final score of 5-3. Michael Kay is standing by. I know that because he's sitting right next to me, and we'll have his clubhouse report after this report from Bill Daughtry at the MSG Sports Desk.
Thanks, Al. There was plenty to talk about in Major League Baseball tonight. Of course, the Yankees with their win down in Baltimore. Other action in the American League as we take a look at your out-of-town American League scoreboard for a Wednesday evening. Well, we begin with games played this afternoon. The Boston Red Sox got a home run from Mo Vaughn. Nomar Garcia-Parra also had a big day at the plate. Red Sox beat Chicago 12-5 at Comiskey. Detroit, they were a winner today, beating Minnesota in the Motor City. Tony Clark, 2 home runs in the ball game. He's got 14 on the year. Todd Walker with a big day at the plate in the loss for the Twins. Tampa Bay with Arrojo on the hill beat Toronto 2-1. Guzman, your losing pitcher there. Kansas City roughed up Doc Gooden tonight, and the Indians, they tried to rally back but couldn't. The Royals with a 4-3 victory at Jacobs Field. In other late American League action, Oakland with a 2-0 lead over Texas. Kenny Rogers working for the A's that ball game in the 8th. Seattle and Anaheim just underway. Fasaro and Olivares, your starters in that one. With New York Mets baseball, Mets had it going on pretty good till Brad Fulmer came to the plate in the 9th inning. He delivered a base hit that broke a 4-4 tie. The Montreal Expos beat the New York Mets tonight 5-4 in Montreal. Taking a look at tonight's National League scoreboard, it looks like this. You had Pittsburgh with a 3-1 loss this afternoon, losing at Philadelphia. Milwaukee, they held on to beat the Cubs 6-5. Sammy Sosa with his 25th homer of the year. Jose Hernandez had 9 and 10 for the Cubs in the loss. Colorado and San Francisco, they were knocking heads at Candlestick Point this afternoon. Darryl Kyle, his 10th loss of the year. Giants with a 6-3 victory. It was Arizona with another win on artificial turf, 4-1. The D-backs, they beat Cincinnati. Games going on later tonight or just finished up. Atlanta with a 6-2 win over Florida. St. Louis leading Houston 5-2. Mark McGwire, he had his 32nd home run of the season in that ball game. You'll see it later on tonight in our late edition of MSG Sports Desk. And on the West Coast, the Dodgers in San Diego underway. Izzy Valdez going against Mr. Sterling Hitchcock. That game scoreless in the first inning. As we said, you'll see Mark McGwire hit number 32. We'll also have more on the Mets and Yankees after Yankee baseball.
You are watching the Jeep and Eagle post-game report, brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Stage.
This portable Iowa music system features a dual CD changer, double cassette deck, digital tuner, remote control, and Q sound for 3D enhancement. Call 1-800-BUY-IOWA.
We're back at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. The Yankees beat the Orioles and salvaged 1 of 3. The final score 5-3. And in the city in which George Herman Ruth was born, the blast of Darryl Strawberry was indeed Ruthian. 465 feet. And that's where Joe Torre and Michael Kay begin their post-game conversation.
Joe, have you seen many longer home runs than that one by Strawberry?
Just the one he hit in practice today. He hit one off that scoreboard in practice today in center field. He was swinging the bat really well today in extra hitting, and then again during the regular batting practice. And it was a big start for us. After getting shut out yesterday, to jump start with 3 runs was big for Andy.
When you see Darryl do that, he has 10 home runs, I think, and 125 ABs. Does he have those home runs because you put him in situations where he can succeed, or you think he could have more if he was an everyday player?
Michael, I wish I knew the answer to that, because he'd never make an out if we knew what the hell we were doing. But I like the way he's swinging the bat. I mean, yesterday I just wanted to match up with Raines and the youngster, but Straw will play here for a couple of days. He's got a lot more life in his bat here the last day or so.
All right. How about Andy Pettitte? What's your take on him?
He was good. He made a couple of mistakes. He made a 2-0 home run. Not that it was a mistake. You have to throw a strike. He just threw it in a nice, comfortable spot. And then the 0-2 to Carter, he fouled off a number of pitches, and he just didn't get it in the dirt. He just missed his spot a couple of times to Carter. But he battles. Yeah, I mean, he got a big double play. That double play, first to second was huge for us after the home run and the base hit.
How about Girardi? He's kind of been reduced to the second catcher. He catches 2 out of every 5, and he continues to do a pretty good job for you.
Well, that doesn't bother him. Maybe on, with different people, you may let your ego jump in the way of what you need to do to help the ball club. But Joe's not. He doesn't have that makeup. He's ready to play. He pretty much knows now with Coney and Pettitte that he's going to play, and maybe, he gets an extra one here or there. But if he's not helping us, he's helping Georgie between innings too.
He remains ready because the chance will come. Joe Girardi, the most professional catcher of the New York Yankees, starting because of his partnership with Andy Pettitte and helping his pitcher out with his 2nd home run of the season. And that's the kind of preparation and state of readiness that we have admired as far as the Yankees go, not only from Joe Girardi, but so many of their players who have roles to play and play them well. That's Joe Girardi, part of the offensive attack and catching Andy Pettitte's win tonight here in Baltimore. It's time for the Clubhouse Report. It's brought to you by the New York Marriott Marquis, Broadway's biggest hit, and it stars Michael Kay, because no one can ask those questions like Michael Kay. How about Joe Girardi? I mean, I know that's your question to Joe Torre, but I mean, it's one of the lasting things that comes out of this game.
I think that he is a microcosm of what this whole Yankee team is about. He accepts his role. This guy was the starting catcher on a World Series team just 2 years ago, and now he's reduced to 40% of the playing time. He catches Cone and he catches Pettitte, and he doesn't complain. And what Joe Torre said is true. He doesn't sit there and sulk. He doesn't wish that Jorge Posada gets hurt. He sits there and teaches Jorge Posada how to further take his job. He's a remarkable man, and he's in the last year of his contract. And really, if the Yankees were smart, what they would do is they'd keep Joe Girardi around next year. I think he'd take a reduced price because his value really is off the market in terms of what he gives to the team in the clubhouse.
Okay, overall, we're going to get to the Mike Stanton suspension in a short while. But the other headline, other than Darryl and maybe Joe Girardi's home run, is obviously the pitching performance of Andy Pettitte. We mentioned moments ago this was his forte, so to speak, in 1996, stopping losing, and he did a great job of that tonight.
And his forte is also beating the Orioles. He's 8-1 lifetime now, 6-0 here at Camden Yards.
Where are we on that word, by the way? Because I believe the correct pronunciation is fort, but no one pronounces it that way.
I think it's forte. That's the way I'll go with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's fort, but
whatever. Well, anyway,
Fordham teaches it one way, and then there's the rest of the world.
And then that school that you went to teaches
Right,
it
okay.
another way.
Mm-hmm.
But Andy Pettitte really has been brilliant the last 3 starts. He really ran into a lot of trouble. Before that, he looked a little bit shaky. He's still getting his rhythm down, which I think is important. But through all of his struggles, he's still 8-5.
Right.
And that tells you a little bit about Andy Pettitte. He got perseverance, and he also knows how to win games, even if he doesn't have his good stuff. I think at the end of the year, Andy Pettitte will have his 20 wins.
I bet that you decided to speak to Andy Pettitte in the locker room.
You would bet, and you would win.
All right,
You'd be even wealthier than you are.
You lead to this.
Here's Andy Pettitte with me.
I felt good. I still I'm not where I want to be yet. Still scuffling a little bit. Getting my command where I want it to be, but I was able to keep mixing in the pitches. Joe called a great game, and I was able to keep him off balance a little bit.
You annoyed by the 2 home runs?
No, not at all. I mean, this place, you're gonna give up your home runs, and then Rafi seems to always hit one off of me anyway. So if they're solo shots, and seemed like they were really hurting me earlier in the year when I was giving up. So I mean, you're gonna give up solo shots, and the guys got the big lead, and I was just threw some pitches to the pitch to Rafi. I just didn't want to go 3-0, and I just said, here it is, and hit it, and he hit it. So, you can do that when you got a lead.
Your last 3 starts have been very, very good after you had struggled before that. What's changed?
I just feel like that I'm my command is a little bit better. I'm not walking as many people, and I've started throwing 2 bullpens in between my start, and I think it's just helping me get a better feel for everything and getting my rhythm down a little bit. I still don't think I'm where I want to be. I know I'm not where I want to be, but I feel like I'm going to get there.
8-1 against the Orioles. You probably own them as much as Peter Angelos. What's the deal?
I don't know. I know I've had one bad start here, and I should have had a loss. So that record's a little deceiving. But the teams have scored runs for you, and I've got a real good idea what they're trying to do at the plate against me, and I know they have a pretty good idea what I'm going to try to do too. So maybe that's got a lot to do with it.
Now, Mike, in the middle there's one of the reasons why sometimes you have to ask a stupid question. And your question to Andy Pettit
I didn't think that was stupid.
Wait a minute now. You ask a pitcher who's just given up 2 home runs, were you upset about the 2 home runs? And you'd think, no, I loved it, Mike. But there's a response that tells you a lot about how Andy Pettit feels about this performance tonight.
Absolutely, and he understands that that's part of the job here, especially at Camden Yards. You are going to give up home runs. He didn't want to walk Palmeiro, and he said Palmeiro usually hits one off me anyway. Boom, he gives up the home run. So I think he pitched very, very well today.
What were you going to add in when that was over?
Well, a couple of things. He really has a savvy attitude about the whole TV business now, because he was ready to go into his shower, and he said, I better talk to you first because I know you have to get on the post game. He also knows that's when his parents could see him. Second thing, he celebrated his 26th birthday, first day in Baltimore, and the team, a couple of the guys, I think 5 of the guys took him out to the Cheesecake Factory, and they actually surprised him, had the whole waiting staff sing happy birthday to him. He was a little bit annoyed.
And that would be a very popular restaurant among Yankee players.
Absolutely. And also, he said the best gift he got, his wife Laura sent him the first picture of his new baby boy, and he said that was my happiest birthday present.
Well, that completes this story at all. Now, this was one of those big-time media days because of what happened with Mike Stanton, his 5-game suspension handed down by the American League. We'll talk about that in a moment as the Yankees have beaten the Orioles 5-3.
The Jeep and Eagle post-game report, brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Back on MSG, the Yankees win the 3rd game of this series 5-3. Andy Pettit looks very, very good. En route to his 8th win of the season, Mariano Rivera helps him out with 1 2/3 worth of relief. Time now for the controversy of the week. Usually we have a million of them, but we need to solve them. And the controversy of the week is brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation, the most timely and cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. And you voted at home via the internet at our website that Mike Stanton's 5-game suspension being warranted was the controversy of the week. Was it or was it not warranted after he hit Eric Davis 2 games ago? All right, Mike, let's get both sides of this. First of all, let's just deal with this question. Was the 5-game suspension warranted?
Well, it's a tough question. I don't think it's a simple black and white answer, but what turns it into a black and white answer is if you think he threw at Eric Davis on purpose, and obviously Gene Budick does, then it's warranted. He has to have the same suspension as Benitez. It's the exact same thing. The thing that makes it a little different and why people are saying he should have less, in my opinion, there wasn't a fight afterward. Well, you should credit the Orioles for that. Again, if you think he threw at him on purpose, he has to have the same suspension.
But the situation wasn't different. Forget the fight. Forget the fight. This was not a home run that blew open a game that was in the back pocket. I understand that. This is the guy who's probably the most sympathetic figure in baseball right now, who had not had any success off of Mike Stanton at all. Mike Stanton has no prior arrests, so to speak, in baseball, and Armando Benitez has a file in this regard. Well, how can you put them side by side on the show?
I think you have to take every single incident individually. I think that people go out and murder people for the first time, and that doesn't mean that they should get less of a sentence.
First-time offenders are brought up in court all the time.
But I don't agree with it. I think if you commit a crime, whether you've done it before or this is the first time you've done it, it's still a crime, and it should be judged that way. And if you believe that Mike Stanton hit him on purpose, he deserves the same suspension as Benitez. And, if you look at it, I think that Yankee fans might look at it a little bit differently if it was an Oriole pitcher who did it again. Home run was given up. The next guy was hit right between the 2 and the 4. And the only guy who knows for sure is Mike Stanton. I asked him on my radio pregame show, would you be willing to take a lie detector test? He looked me right in the eye, said yes, he would be. For the most part, he's always honest. He's an engaging guy. I like him a lot. And he looked me in the eye several times over the last couple of days and said, I did not throw at him on purpose. John Hirschbeck probably thinks he does. Gene Budick probably think he did. And he gave him a 5-game suspension. Will it be lessened? I don't know. Will they hook him up to a lie detector test? Probably not, but if they did, it'd be interesting to see what would come out.
Do you think there was any reason that Joe Torre didn't bring Mike Stanton into the 8th inning situation instead of Rivera?
Well, I asked Joe Torre why he brought Rivera, and he said 2 reasons. He said, he had not worked in a while, so he was fresh. He said also we really needed to win this game. He said the only way you lose ground in standings is to have long losing streaks. He said we didn't want to make it 3 in a row. I wanted Mariano in there to shut it down, and he did.
We've seen Derek Jeter start throwing here in Baltimore. We've seen Derek Jeter start hitting here in Baltimore. I watched him in the batting cage tonight. He looked really good.
Goes to Durham. He stays here overnight. He'll fly to Durham tomorrow. He's trying to convince Joe Torre he only needs 1 game. He wants to start Friday night against Cleveland. If he plays Friday night in Durham, he probably misses Saturday as well, unless the Yankees charter a plane to get him back. So he's very anxious to make it one and done and then be in the lineup Friday against Cleveland.
And quickly, in good spirits he is too. Tell him how he acted while he was throwing on the field before the game.
Louis Soho threw a ball low and away, and he reached for it, and he knew that Al and I were watching. He wins. But he's fine. I think he's fine.
All right, we're done here with Michael Kay. I'm Al Troutway. Thanks for joining us on the Jeep and Eagle post-game report. We wrap up a Yankees 5-3 win as the Yankees get home runs from Darryl Strawberry, an absolute monster, a record setter here at Oriole Park, and a solo home run from Joe Girardi. That helps out Andy Pettitte and Mariano Rivera, and that's the story of this game tonight. Now, the Yankees will travel to Cleveland. We're not part of that weekend, so check your local listings. The next time we see you is Monday as the Yankees take on the Atlanta Braves. New York City Marriott's Yankee scorecard begins our coverage at 7. Coming up next, the full report with Bill Daughtry at the MSG Sports Desk, and then at midnight from the folks in Hollywood, the highlights and stories of the day's events in sports on Fox Sports News.